History is not a straight line, it's filled with mysteries, hidden knowledge, and technologies that still baffle us today. Across 20 chapters, we'll explore ancient innovations, forgotten machines, and artifacts that reveal the ingenuity of civilizations long gone. Relax, let your mind wander through time, and discover the secrets our ancestors left behind. If you enjoy this journey, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment, because the story is only just beginning. Acropolis, Greece's eternal crown. There are places in this world that feel less like destinations and more like echoes, whispers that have been waiting for thousands of years for someone to listen. The Acropolis of Athens is one of those places. It rises from the heart of the modern city like a dream carved from marble and sunlight, a reminder that even time itself once bowed to beauty. As the first light of dawn brushes against its stones, the air seems to hold its breath, and every column, every broken wall, tells a story older than the city itself. Imagine walking up that ancient slope in the early morning, before the crowds, when the world is still quiet and the sky glows faintly pink above the hills. The air is cool and still, carrying with it the scent of olive trees and the faint hum of the city waking below. With each step, you climb not just the hill of the Acropolis, but a staircase through history, from the modern age into the sacred heart of ancient Greece. The marble beneath your feet is worn smooth by countless footsteps, by emperors, philosophers, artists, and travelers who came before you. At the top, the Parthenon stands in quiet majesty, weathered, incomplete, but unbroken. It doesn't feel like a ruin. It feels alive, like something eternal that simply rests between breaths. The columns rise toward the sun, massive yet graceful, each one slightly curved, each stone placed with the precision of divine geometry. The architects of ancient Athens didn't build this temple for mortals. They built it for Athena, goddess of wisdom, protector of the city, the living spirit of Greece. And somehow you can still feel her presence here. The Parthenon was more than a temple. It was a statement, a promise that reason and beauty could exist together. Inside, once stood a towering statue of Athena Parthenos, made of gold and ivory, shimmering with light reflected from oil lamps that flickered in the shadows. Outside, the friezes told stories, gods, heroes, battles, and processions that captured the rhythm of life in Athens. Every inch of stone was carved with meaning. Every design was deliberate. The Greeks believed that perfection was not found in straight lines, but in the small human imperfections that made art breathe. If you stand still long enough, you can almost hear the sound of chisels echoing across centuries, the voices of craftsmen calling out to one another as they shaped the stones that would defy time itself. They could not have known that their work would outlive empires, that people from distant ages would one day walk through their creation, tracing the grooves their hands once made. When the morning sun climbs higher, the marble begins to glow, that unmistakable honey-gold light that makes the Acropolis seem to float. Down below, the city hums and moves like a sea of white rooftops, but up here, it's as if you've stepped outside of time. The air feels older, the silence feels deeper. The Parthenon, the Archaeological, the Temple of Athena Nike, they're not just structures. They're memories carved in stone, symbols of an age when humans looked to the heavens and tried to leave something that could touch eternity. And yet the Acropolis wasn't always this peaceful. It has seen wars, fires, earthquakes, and centuries of change. It was once a fortress, then a church, then a mosque. It has been scarred, broken, and rebuilt more than once. The Parthenon's roof was blown apart in an explosion centuries ago when gunpowder was stored inside. Many of its sculptures were taken away, some resting now in faraway museums. But even stripped of its treasures, its spirit remains. There's a defiance in its silence, a kind of strength that comes only from surviving everything time has to offer. As you walk among its remains, you might notice small details, the way sunlight plays across the fluted columns, the faint carvings half hidden in shadow, or the ancient pathways leading toward the Propylaea gates. You realize that this isn't just an archaeological site. It's a living bridge between what was and what still is. The same stones that carried the feet of Pericles and Socrates now carry yours. And perhaps that's what the Acropolis really represents: continuity, the unbroken thread of human curiosity and creation. Far below, Athens spreads out in all directions, a living city wrapped around its ancient heart. You can see the Plaka's narrow streets winding through whitewashed buildings, the hum of cafes, the scent of coffee drifting upward on the breeze. It feels impossible, this meeting of old and new, yet it works, because Athens has always been a city that remembers. Every sound, every step, every whispered story carries a trace of what came before. As the hours pass, the light shifts. The marble turns from gold to ivory, then soft pink, and finally to gray as evening settles over the city. When the crowds are gone and the air cools, the Acropolis becomes something else entirely. Not a monument, but a presence. The cicadas fade, the wind quiets, and you can almost imagine the flicker of torchlight, the echo of ancient footsteps returning once more. It's said that at night, the goddess still walks these grounds. Maybe that's just a story, or maybe it's what we all feel when we stand before something timeless. There's a peace here, the kind that seeps into you slowly, like a memory you didn't know you had. You feel small, but also infinite. You realize that for all our modern wonders, nothing we build will ever speak as deeply as these stones that have watched humanity grow. The Acropolis doesn't just belong to Athens, it belongs to the world, to everyone who has ever looked up at the stars and wondered where we come from. It stands as proof that thousands of years ago, people already understood that beauty and thought could shape the future, that wisdom could be built, not just written, that even in ruin, something sacred can endure. Pompeii, Italy. Pompeii lies at the base of Mount Vesuvius, along the Bay of Naples, a city that was once full of life. Before the eruption in 79 AD, it was a thriving Roman settlement, with streets lined by shops, homes, temples, and public spaces. People walked the same cobbled roads that remain today. Merchants sold wine and oil, children ran through the forum, families gathered for meals, life carried on with all its ordinary rhythms. Walking through Pompeii now, it feels like stepping into a paused moment of history. The streets are silent, yet every stone, every wall, every doorway tells a story. The houses are still, but they hold traces of daily life. Mosaics decorate floors with intricate designs, often showing scenes from mythology or depictions of animals and everyday activities. Some walls are painted with vivid colors, reds, blacks, and yellows, revealing images of feasts, gods, and even simple messages scratched by residents. One can still see graffiti, casual notes from long ago, declarations of love, political messages, or warnings about dogs. In the public baths, the remains of heating systems and water channels illustrate the Romans' engineering skill. The amphitheaters remind us that leisure, spectacle, and entertainment were essential parts of daily life. Temples show the religious devotion that permeated the city. Everywhere, Pompeii speaks of human aspiration, curiosity, and routine. On August 24, 79 AD, the ordinary rhythm of life ended abruptly. Mount Vesuvius erupted. First came ash and pumice, falling slowly from the sky. Citizens tried to flee, some seeking shelter indoors, others heading toward the sea. Then the pyroclastic flows arrived, clouds of superheated gas, ash and rock moving with unstoppable force. Buildings collapsed, streets disappeared, people perished instantly, many mid-step, mid-breath, mid-thought. Within hours the city was buried. Life was frozen, as though time itself had stopped. For more than 1600 years, Pompeii remained hidden. It was forgotten beneath farmland, slowly fading from memory. In 1748, excavators uncovered the first walls and paintings, and the city emerged again. Over the centuries, archaeologists unearthed homes, temples, bakeries, and streets, each revealing small details of life long past. Loaves of bread were still in ovens, tables remained set, and the plaster casts of victims captured their final moments. A mother held her child, a man shielded his face from falling ash. Dogs, chained to posts, struggled in silence. Pompeii is remarkable because it teaches us about ordinary life in extraordinary detail. We see not only the tragedy of destruction, but also the lives that preceded it. We can trace how people cooked, ate, worshipped, and worked. We can feel the organization of the city, the drainage, the streets, the water supply, and the layout of public and private spaces. Through Pompeii, the human experience becomes tangible, as if we could reach out and touch the past. Modern archaeology continues to reveal new information. Scientists study skeletal remains, dietary patterns, illnesses, and even relationships between families. DNA tests have allowed researchers to trace connections, turning statistics into real human stories. Hidden frescoes, rooms, and neighborhoods still lie beneath the surface, promising more discoveries in the future. Pompeii's legacy is profound. It reminds us that history is alive. It is not merely a record of dates or events. It is found in the streets we walk, the tools we touch, and the objects we hold. It is in the everyday lives of people long gone, and it is preserved in moments of sudden silence, when the ordinary world is interrupted by extraordinary events. Walking through Pompeii today, we move gently along streets that still carry echoes of the past. We can imagine merchants opening their shops, children playing in the sun, and families gathering for meals. We can see the layers of ash that have preserved the city for millennia, and in that silence there is both sorrow and beauty. Sorrow for the lives abruptly ended, and beauty in the remarkable preservation of a human world paused in time. Pompeii teaches patience, attention, and reverence for history. Each step in the city offers insight into human ingenuity, culture, and vulnerability. The preserved mosaics, temples, homes, and streets allow us to glimpse the ordinary moments that defined life. The final moments of the citizens, captured in plaster, bring an intimate understanding of mortality and the fragility of life. Even as the modern world bustles above it, Pompeii continues to speak. It tells stories of love, work, devotion, and loss. It reminds us of the impermanence of human endeavors, and yet of the enduring power of memory. It shows us that life, even when ended abruptly, can leave behind traces that teach, inspire, and move us across millennia. When you walk through the city, the silence is profound. You feel both the weight of loss and the persistence of human life. The ash that preserved the city also preserves our connection to the people who once lived here. Their homes, their streets, their moments of leisure and labor, all remain, ready for anyone who listens. Pompeii does not need to speak loudly. Its quiet, deliberate presence conveys everything necessary: the fragility of life, the resilience of human culture, and the enduring echoes of a day when time itself stopped. And so Pompeii remains, a city paused, a story captured, a world preserved. Walking through its streets, examining its mosaics, and studying its ruins, we connect with humanity across centuries. The past becomes present, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the silence teaches us to listen, to reflect, and to understand life in a profoundly human way. Ephesus, Turkey. Ephesus lies along the western coast of modern-day Turkey, near the Aegean Sea. It was once one of the most important cities of the Roman Empire, a thriving hub for trade, culture, and learning. Walking through its streets today, it is easy to imagine the bustle of life long ago. Merchants called out their wares, citizens moved between homes, shops, and public spaces. The scent of fresh bread and oil would have filled the air. The sounds of conversation, footsteps, and horses' hooves echoed through the streets. Life moved with the rhythms of ordinary daily activity, and yet within this ordinary life, Ephesus was extraordinary. The Library of Celsus is perhaps the most famous structure in the city. Its towering facade, with columns and decorative niches, stands as a reminder of the Roman dedication to learning and knowledge. It was built to house thousands of scrolls, a treasure trove of wisdom for citizens and travelers alike. The library was more than a repository of books. It was a symbol of Ephesus' status and ambition, a city that prided itself on intellect and culture. Standing before it today, the stones are silent, but they seem to hum with the whispers of scholars long gone. Beyond the library lies the Great Theater, capable of seating more than 25,000 spectators. In its prime, the theater hosted dramas, musical performances, and civic gatherings. Imagine the performers standing under the sun, their voices carrying across the marble seating, reaching thousands of people who came to watch, listen, and experience a shared moment. The theater reminds us of the human desire for entertainment, storytelling, and communal experience. Even now, as the wind moves gently through its arches and stone, you can almost hear the echoes of applause and the quiet murmurs of anticipation. Ephesus is filled with decorative arches, mosaics, and inscriptions, each one telling a story. Every corner of the city reveals layers of human ingenuity, architectural skill, and cultural significance. Walking its streets, you pass by the remains of public baths, fountains, temples, and private homes. The streets are paved with large stones, worn smooth over centuries of use. Each step carries the weight of countless generations who have moved through the city before you. Visiting Ephesus early in the day allows for a quieter experience. The morning light casts a soft glow across the ruins, illuminating carvings and mosaics that might otherwise go unnoticed. The shadows create a gentle contrast, emphasizing the depth and craftsmanship of each structure. With few people around, it is easier to sense the scale of the city and the intricacy of its layout. Streets open onto forums, marketplaces, and sacred spaces, showing how life was organized, both practically and spiritually. One remarkable aspect of Ephesus is how well it preserves the Roman attention to detail. The city's water systems, drainage, and urban planning are evidence of engineering skill that supported a large population. Temples and public buildings demonstrate the importance of religion, civic pride, and social structure. Private homes, often with courtyards and frescoed walls, reveal the personal lives of the inhabitants. Through these details, we see not only what the city looked like, but how its people lived, what they valued, and how they interacted with each other. Ephesus also provides insight into the connection between commerce and culture. Merchants from across the Roman world came here to trade goods, ideas, and knowledge. The city became a center of learning and art, a place where innovation thrived alongside tradition. Every column, statue, and inscription is a window into a world where human ambition, creativity, and collaboration converge to create something enduring. In walking through Ephesus, you are not only seeing the ruins of a city, you are stepping into the rhythms of daily life that have been frozen for nearly 2,000 years. The voices of the past are quiet, but persistent, speaking through architecture, streets, and artifacts. You can imagine children running between houses, merchants exchanging goods, and citizens gathering for discussion in the forum. You can picture the sun rising over the marble facades, casting long shadows across the streets as the city awakens, filled with ordinary human activity that has now become extraordinary through time. The city's survival through centuries of earthquakes, invasions, and natural decay is a testament to the durability of Roman engineering and the care with which these structures were built. Each ruin invites reflection on the passage of time, the impermanence of human endeavors, and the lasting traces of human presence. The care and artistry evident in the remaining buildings encourage patience and attention. qualities that allow us to appreciate the subtleties of daily life in antiquity. Ephesus reminds us that history is not just a collection of dates or events. It is a lived experience, captured in the stones, mosaics, and inscriptions left behind. It is in the layout of streets, the design of public spaces, and the evidence of human interaction. It is in the care with which books were preserved, the performances given in the theater, and the rituals practiced in the temples. Every detail speaks to the ordinary and extraordinary aspects of human life, preserved across centuries for us to witness. Walking through the city, the present seems to fade. The modern world disappears as you trace the path of ancient citizens. You notice the alignment of buildings, the placement of marketplaces, and the way the city embraces its natural landscape. Ephesus invites reflection, providing a quiet space to imagine daily life in a world long past. The textures of stone and marble, the intricacies of carving, and the remnants of art offer both insight and calm, allowing the mind to settle into the rhythm of history. In the quiet morning, with few tourists around, you can imagine the city waking up, the sun climbing over hills, and the first light touching the library of Celsus. The city breathes through its stones, whispering stories of learning, trade, entertainment, and devotion. Each structure and artifact becomes a teacher, guiding the observer through centuries of human achievement. Ephesus is a city of layers, time, and human presence. Its preserved streets and monuments invite exploration and contemplation. It teaches us to slow down, to observe, and to understand that the past is always present when we listen carefully. It demonstrates the ingenuity, resilience, and creativity of people who lived 2,000 years ago. It offers both a record of life and a meditation on its impermanence, allowing those who walk through it to feel connected to history in a calm, reflective way. And so Ephesus remains, a city preserved, a story told, and a place where the ordinary moments of life become extraordinary in their endurance. Walking through it is to step into a quiet dialogue with the past, where every stone and every shadow has a story to share, encouraging contemplation, reflection, and ultimately, a sense of calm that carries into the present. Italica, Spain, just a short distance from Seville, tucked into the gentle hills and plains of southern Spain, lies Italica, one of the most remarkable yet often overlooked Roman ruins in the world. Its history stretches back over 2 millennia, to the year 26 BC, when Roman settlers established a colony on this land. Though it may not carry the same renown as Rome itself, Italica played a significant role in the Roman Empire. It is here, amid its streets, forums, and amphitheaters, that the foundations of imperial ambition can still be traced. Walking through Italica today, the remains of a city emerge gradually from the earth. The layout of the streets, the patterns of the stone pavements, and the foundations of homes hint at a once thriving community. The Romans who lived here built a city that reflected both practicality and grandeur. Houses with inner courtyards, mosaics depicting scenes of daily life, and public spaces intended for gatherings and trade, all suggest a civilization that valued both order and beauty. Italica is known as the birthplace of 2 Roman emperors, Trajan and Hadrian. This connection to imperial history adds a layer of significance to the site. Trajan, remembered for his military campaigns and for expanding the empire to its greatest territorial extent, and Hadrian, renowned for his architectural achievements and the construction of Hadrian's Wall in Britain, both began their lives in this city. It is intriguing to imagine these figures as children, walking the same streets we can now explore, perhaps noticing the amphitheater in the distance, or the gentle flow of water through the city's drainage system. The amphitheater at Italica is among its most impressive features. Though partially ruined, its massive elliptical shape still dominates the landscape. This was a place where thousands of spectators gathered, their voices echoing through the stone as gladiators, performers, and perhaps wild animals entertained the crowds. The structure itself demonstrates remarkable Roman engineering. Every arch, every tier of seating was calculated with precision, designed to withstand both the weight of the crowds and the passage of time. Standing within the amphitheater, it is easy to sense the energy that once filled the space, to imagine the tension, excitement, and anticipation that must have accompanied every event. Beyond the amphitheater, Italica's streets reveal the rhythm of daily life. The remains of shops, bakeries, and workshops suggest a city that was not only a political and ceremonial center, but also a hub of commerce and crafts. Mosaics, still partially intact, depict animals, mythological figures, and geometric patterns. These colorful designs, laid carefully into the floors of homes and public spaces, offer a glimpse into the aesthetic sensibilities of Italica's inhabitants. They also reflect the connection between the city and the wider Roman world, where artistic trends and cultural ideas traveled along trade routes and through political networks. Public spaces such as forums and baths were central to Italica's social life. The forum served as a gathering place for civic activity, while the baths provided a setting for relaxation, conversation, and personal care. These spaces were designed not merely for function, but for comfort and beauty. The baths, with their complex system of hot and cold rooms, pools, and water channels, demonstrate the sophistication of Roman engineering and the importance of hygiene and leisure in urban life. Italica's location just outside Seville was also strategic. It allowed the city to control surrounding lands, manage agricultural production, and maintain connections with other Roman settlements in the Iberian Peninsula. The terrain, gently rolling and fertile, supported vineyards, olive groves, and fields, providing sustenance and trade goods for the population. The city's proximity to rivers and trade routes ensured its integration into the economic network of the empire, linking local production with distant markets across Europe and North Africa. As we move through the ruins, there is a palpable sense of time layering upon itself. Streets that once carried the footsteps of Roman citizens now echo with the quiet of modern exploration. Walls that once enclosed homes now frame the sky. Columns and arches, though weathered and broken, still convey the ambition and skill of the architects who designed them. Walking slowly, observing details with care, one begins to feel the rhythm of Italica as a living place, even if only in memory and imagination. Italica's preservation allows us to reflect not only on the lives of its citizens, but also on the broader narrative of history. Empires rise and fall, yet the traces they leave endure. Through ruins like Italica, we glimpse the daily experiences, social structures, and artistic achievements of those who came before us. It reminds us that human history is not only about monumental events, but also about the quieter, everyday actions that shape the world. As the day wanes and shadows stretch across the ancient stones, Italica exudes a gentle serenity. The amphitheater is quiet, the streets empty, and the city seems to breathe slowly with the rhythms of the past. Observing the ruins in this calm state allows the mind to wander through centuries of human endeavor, to connect with the lives that unfolded here, and to feel a sense of continuity across time. Exploring Italica is an invitation to slow down, to notice details that might otherwise be overlooked, and to reflect on the ingenuity of the people who built this city. It encourages patience, observation, and contemplation. The mosaics, the bathhouses, the amphitheater, and the streets all tell stories without words, leaving impressions that linger long after one has left the site. In the quiet of Italica, the past is present. It does not demand attention, but offers it gently to those willing to look, to those willing to imagine the lives, the hopes, and the struggles of a city that once thrived on this land. Here, amid stones and mosaics, one can feel the weight of history, the passage of time, and the enduring legacy of human creativity. The city may have been buried, abandoned, and rediscovered, but its essence remains. Italica continues to speak softly through its ruins, whispering of emperors, citizens, and artisans, and inviting those who visit to witness, reflect, and connect. It is a place where time slows, where the mind can wander gently, and where the imagination can roam freely through centuries of human life. Angkor Wat, Cambodia. In the heart of Cambodia, surrounded by dense forest and the gentle flow of the Siem Reap River, lies Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument ever built. Its name evokes a sense of mystery and grandeur, and stepping into this sprawling temple complex is like stepping into another time entirely. The scale of Angkor Wat is immediately striking. Towers rise into the sky, intricate bas-reliefs stretch for meters along ancient walls, and the symmetry of the layout reflects not only architectural skill, but also a careful consideration of cosmic order and spiritual symbolism. To truly experience Angkor Wat, one must arrive in the quiet of early morning. The sun has barely begun its ascent, and the air carries the stillness of dawn. At this hour, the crowd is minimal, and the atmosphere feels almost sacred. As the first light brushes the temple's sandstone towers, the reflection in the surrounding moat creates a perfect mirror, doubling the magnificence of the site and offering a moment of serenity that few other places can match. The world seems to pause here. The usual distractions of life, the sounds, the urgency, the noise fade away, leaving only the calm presence of centuries-old stone and water. Originally dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, Angkor Wat later transformed into a Buddhist site, reflecting the layers of Cambodia's spiritual history. The carvings on the walls tell stories of gods and mortals, battles and victories, and intricate depictions of mythological events. Every relief, every etched figure, speaks of a civilization with remarkable skill, deep devotion, and an enduring desire to create something that would outlast time itself. As you wander through the corridors and courtyards, it is impossible not to marvel at the meticulous work that went into every stone. The carvings are not simply decorative, they are narratives, lessons, and memories etched into eternity. The central towers of Angkor Wat, rising like mountains of stone, dominate the horizon. From certain angles they seem to float, anchored only by the shadows they cast, and the water that surrounds them. Walking through the causeways that lead to these towers, one can feel a subtle rhythm in the layout of the temple, a careful alignment with the cardinal directions and celestial bodies, a reminder of how closely human civilization has always been tied to the movement of the sun, moon, and stars. The vast galleries and courtyards offer spaces for reflection and contemplation. The quiet hum of the morning, punctuated by the distant calls of birds, enhances the sense of connection to both nature and history. The intricate carvings on the walls, often depicting thousands of figures in delicate relief, invite viewers to take their time, to notice the small details, and to imagine the lives of the people who once walked these same paths, carrying their prayers, offerings, and intentions. Angkor Wat is more than just a temple, it is a testament to human endurance and creativity. Built during the height of the Khmer Empire in the 12th century, it required vast resources, labor, and vision. Stones transported from distant quarries, carefully shaped and placed, created structures that have survived centuries of weather, conflict, and the slow encroachment of nature. As you move through the ancient corridors, it is easy to feel both humbled and inspired, recognizing the patience, dedication, and ingenuity required to construct such a monumental work. The reflection in the moat is not just a visual spectacle, it creates a sense of duality, one world above the water, another mirrored below. Standing at the edge of the temple, gazing into this reflection, one can feel a quiet stillness settle in the mind. The water, calm and unbroken, mirrors the towers perfectly, a natural counterpart to the human effort and ingenuity that shape the stones. The symmetry, the balance, and the harmony evoke a meditative sensation, inviting contemplation and calm. As the sun climbs higher, shadows stretch and move across the temple complex, shifting the mood and highlighting different aspects of the architecture. The long colonnades, the steep staircases, the hidden courtyards, each invites exploration and discovery. Even the smallest details, like the carvings of apsaras dancing across the walls, are designed to capture attention slowly, encouraging observation and appreciation of the intricate artistry. Angkor Wat's presence is both monumental and intimate. From the massive outer walls that create a sense of enclosure and security to the narrow corridors that lead deeper into the sacred heart of the temple, every space encourages a pace of quiet curiosity. Moving through the complex, one feels a sense of timelessness. Here, history, nature, and human ingenuity converge to create a place where time slows, where the mind can wander, and where the present moment is fully experienced. Exploring Angkor Wat is also an invitation to reflect on the impermanence of human endeavors. Despite its grandeur and resilience, the temple has weathered centuries of change, shifts in political power, religious practices, and natural forces. Yet it endures, offering lessons in patience, balance, and the pursuit of excellence. It reminds us that even the greatest achievements are part of a larger continuum, woven into the fabric of history and carried forward by memory and observation. The temple's intricate carvings, serene causeways, and towering spires speak softly to those who take the time to notice. It is a space that encourages the mind to settle, the body to relax, and the imagination to roam through centuries of human devotion and artistry. Here, one can feel a connection, not only to the people who built Angkor Wat, but also to the broader narrative of civilization, the persistence of faith, and the quiet power of creativity. In the calm light of dawn, as you move slowly through the courtyards and corridors, Angkor Wat reveals its enduring wisdom. It offers a quiet meditation on the relationship between human ambition and the natural world, between art and spirituality, between history and the present moment. Each step taken here is a step through time, a gentle journey that unfolds slowly, allowing the mind to relax and the heart to absorb the presence of something far greater than oneself. And so, amid the soft rustling of leaves, the distant calls of birds, and the gentle reflection in the moat, Angkor Wat stands as it has for centuries, a place of beauty, contemplation, and timeless calm. Here, history whispers, inviting all who wander its paths to pause, to reflect, and to let their minds drift gently, carried along by the quiet, enduring presence of the Khmer Empire's greatest masterpiece. Borobudur, Indonesia. In the heart of Java, Indonesia, surrounded by rolling hills and dense mist-covered jungle, lies Borobudur, the world's largest Buddhist stupa. From a distance, its massive terraces rise from the earth like a mountain of stone, each level layered with intricately carved reliefs, telling stories that have traveled across centuries. Approaching the site, one can feel the weight of history, the quiet majesty of a monument built not merely to impress, but to inspire reflection and spiritual contemplation. Borobudur was constructed in the 9th century, during the height of the Sailendra dynasty. The builders meticulously shaped volcanic stone into walls, terraces, and stupas that align perfectly with cardinal points and celestial patterns. Each stone, carved with figures of the Buddha, scenes from daily life, and the philosophical teachings of Buddhism, reflects not only remarkable artistic skill, but also a profound understanding of human aspiration and the path toward enlightenment. For those who visit, the most enchanting experience begins before sunrise. The early morning air is cool, mist rolling through the valleys, soft clouds brushing against the distant volcanoes. Walking the gentle path up to the stupa, the quiet of the morning envelops you, broken only by the distant calls of birds and the rustling of leaves in the breeze. As the first rays of sunlight strike the terraces, the reliefs and stupas glow warmly, revealing their subtle textures and the careful precision of centuries-old craftsmanship. Each level of Borobudur represents a stage on the journey toward enlightenment. The base, wide and grounding, depicts the ordinary world and the challenges of human existence. As you ascend, the middle terraces illustrate moral lessons and teachings, guiding the mind gently toward higher understanding. And at the summit, the circular terraces, dotted with hundreds of bell-shaped stupas, evoke a sense of peace, completion, and spiritual fulfillment. It is here, standing amidst the calm, that one begins to sense the extraordinary thought and care that went into creating not just a monument, but a map of human contemplation and growth. The carvings themselves are mesmerizing. Scenes of village life, markets, and agricultural work are etched with such precision that you can almost hear the clatter of daily activity, the laughter of children, and the rhythm of a world long gone. Simultaneously, the teachings of Buddha, serene, compassionate, instructive, speak quietly across the centuries, reminding those who walk the terraces that reflection and understanding are always within reach. Mist often drifts over the lower terraces, softening edges and blurring boundaries, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. The temple seems to float between earth and sky, a bridge between the material and the spiritual, a place where time feels less urgent and the mind can settle into calm. Walking slowly along the pathways, one cannot help but feel a deep connection, not only to the builders who shaped this stone with care and devotion, but to the countless pilgrims who have followed the same path, seeking understanding, solace, or simply the quiet majesty of the place. The scale of Borobudur is also humbling. Hundreds of statues, thousands of relief panels, and multiple levels invite slow exploration. There is no need to rush. In fact, rushing would rob the visitor of the meditative qualities embedded in the site. Every corner rewards patience. A small stupa carved perfectly, a hidden Buddha peeking from a circular opening, a relief depicting a teaching that resonates even in the modern world. The temple's design encourages calm observation, reflection, and mindfulness. Beyond the stone, the surroundings enhance the serenity. The jungle stretches endlessly, with mist and morning dew softening the landscape. Volcanoes loom in the distance, silent yet powerful reminders of the forces of nature and time. Birds rise with the sun, their songs harmonizing with the whisper of wind through the trees. It is a sensory experience that invites the mind to slow, the body to relax, and the spirit to absorb the quiet presence of centuries of devotion. Borobudur is also a reminder of impermanence. While the monument has endured for over 1,000 years, it has faced volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and centuries of abandonment. Restoration efforts have returned it to its former glory, yet the signs of time remain: slight weathering of stone, gentle erosion along the reliefs, and moss that softens the edges of the terraces. These marks of age do not diminish the stupa's beauty, rather they deepen it, reminding visitors of the cycles of creation, endurance, and renewal. As the sun rises fully, casting warm light across the terraces, Borobudur transforms. Shadows shift, patterns become clearer, and the carvings come alive in subtle ways. Walking along the upper terraces, one can pause at each bell-shaped stupa, seeing through its lattice openings the small statues of the Buddha inside. Each figure radiates calm and invites contemplation, silently offering guidance to those willing to move slowly, breathe deeply, and observe carefully. The experience of Borobudur is not merely visual, it is spatial, emotional, and meditative. Moving from the base to the summit, visitors are led on a journey not only through the architecture, but also through their own reflections. There is a rhythm to the walk, a natural pacing that encourages patience, observation, and a gentle focus on the present moment. It is a rhythm designed to calm the mind, soften tension, and invite the possibility of sleep or deep meditation. As you pause at the highest point, overlooking the terraces, the surrounding forest, and distant volcanoes, there is a profound sense of quiet. The stupa's stones have witnessed countless dawns, centuries of worship, and endless cycles of human endeavor. In that quiet, one feels connected to history, to nature, to the patience and dedication of those who built this magnificent structure. The world slows, thoughts drift, and a gentle sense of wonder and calm settles over the mind. Borobudur remains one of the most powerful examples of human devotion and architectural mastery. It teaches not only about history and religion, but also about patience, observation, and the quiet, enduring beauty that can emerge when skill, care, and spirituality meet. For anyone willing to move slowly, absorb the details, and let themselves be guided by the rhythm of the temple, Borobudur offers a timeless journey, one that lingers in the mind and nurtures a calm, reflective state of being. And so, as mist curls around the terraces and the sun climbs higher in the sky, Borobudur stands, a monument of patience, devotion, and quiet majesty, a place where centuries of human effort meet the stillness of the natural world, inviting all who wander its paths to pause, reflect, and let their thoughts drift gently, carried along by the serene presence of this timeless Buddhist masterpiece. Ayutthaya, Thailand. A short journey north from the bustling streets of Bangkok brings you to the ancient city of Ayutthaya, a place where time seems to flow differently. The air carries a quiet weight, as though the centuries of history have seeped into the soil itself. Once a thriving capital of Siam, Ayutthaya was a center of politics, trade and religion, drawing people from far and wide. Today, its ruins stand as a silent testament to both its former glory and the passage of time. Arriving in the early morning, the first rays of sunlight fall across crumbling temples and weathered stupas, casting long, gentle shadows on the ground. The city, though destroyed in the 18th century by the Burmese army, has left behind a landscape that still speaks to the imagination. Massive bricks, intricately carved stone, and moss-covered sculptures hint at the artistry and devotion of the people who once walked these streets. One of the most striking aspects of Ayutthaya is the way nature has intertwined with the remnants of human civilization. At Wat Mahathat, the famous Buddha head, gently cradled in the roots of a sprawling tree, seems almost alive. The roots have grown around it, embracing it with a patience and care that surpasses human hands. Standing there observing the delicate balance of stone and root, it becomes easy to reflect on the impermanence of all things, the rise and fall of empires, the changing course of rivers, and the slow persistent power of nature. Exploring the many temple complexes, the sense of scale is humbling. Large stupas rise into the sky, their conical shapes echoing across the landscape, while smaller shrines and pagodas create a rhythmic pattern of shadow and light. Each site carries its own stories. Some walls bear faint remnants of murals that once depicted the lives of kings and monks, while statues, though eroded by time, still radiate calm and serenity. Walking slowly among the ruins, the mind is invited to pause, to take in each detail without rush. Hiring a tuk-tuk to navigate between the scattered sites allows the journey to flow naturally. The roads wind through rice fields and along quiet canals, with the soft hum of the early morning creating a meditative rhythm. At each stop, the temples reveal themselves slowly, not all at once, giving time to absorb the subtle artistry, the placement of statues, the balance between stone and open sky. The silence is punctuated only by the calls of birds, or the occasional rustle of leaves, a gentle soundtrack to the exploration. Wat Phra Sangphet, once the holiest temple in Ayutthaya, demonstrates the architectural prowess of its builders. Its 3 large stupas, still standing tall despite centuries of abandonment, dominate the skyline. They were once adorned with gold and vibrant colors, reflecting the wealth and devotion of the kingdom. Even now they carry a quiet authority, a reminder of the city's prominence in the region, and the ingenuity of those who constructed it. The human stories embedded in Ayutthaya's ruins are as compelling as the structures themselves. Each site was once filled with activity, priests chanting prayers, merchants exchanging goods, families gathering for festivals, children running along the temple courtyards. Though the sounds have long since faded, standing among the ruins, it is possible to imagine the rhythms of daily life, the cycles of devotion, and the pulse of a civilization that, though destroyed, left a lasting mark on history. Visiting early in the day, before the arrival of large tourist groups, creates a meditative space. The pathways, lined with broken columns and fallen statues, invite slow steps. Observing the play of sunlight on stone and the subtle colors of moss and lichen encourages a mindfulness that relaxes both body and mind. Even the crumbling bricks seem to whisper lessons of resilience and the gentle passage of time. The famous Buddha head, entwined in the tree roots at Wat Mahathat, deserves special attention. Its serene expression, framed by the intricate patterns of nature, embodies a sense of calm that transcends centuries. Pausing there, breathing slowly, one can feel a connection not only to the ancient city, but also to the enduring patience of the natural world. It is a place that asks nothing but presence, inviting reflection and quiet contemplation. Throughout Ayutthaya, each temple and stupa offers a slightly different perspective on history, architecture, and spirituality. From the towering central structures to the small shrines tucked away in quiet corners, the city reveals itself in layers, encouraging a gentle pace and a thoughtful eye. Walking through the sites, one begins to sense the careful planning and devotion that went into creating a city capable of inspiring awe and reverence. The soft rustle of leaves in the early morning, the distant song of birds, and the gentle light that shifts across crumbling stone all contribute to a peaceful atmosphere. This is a city where the past meets the present in a quiet dialogue, where ruins encourage reflection, and where the visitor can simply allow their thoughts to drift alongside the centuries of history embedded in the earth. By midday, the sun climbs higher, illuminating every detail, the patterns on the bricks, the textures of eroded stone, and the faint traces of artwork that have survived despite time and conflict. Even as crowds begin to appear, the city retains a sense of calm. There is room for quiet observation, for gentle exploration, and for the mind to settle into the rhythm of the place. Ayutthaya teaches lessons beyond history and architecture. It reminds us of impermanence, the cycles of creation and destruction, and the delicate balance between human endeavor and natural forces. The ruins encourage patience, reflection, and appreciation for the small details that often go unnoticed. Every step through the city is a slow journey through time, a gentle meditation that nourishes the mind and soothes the spirit. As the afternoon progresses, light filters through remaining arches and columns, casting soft, elongated shadows. The temples seem to exhale, releasing the quiet energy of centuries past. Even the fallen stones and scattered ruins hold a certain dignity, a story waiting to be understood, inviting visitors to slow down and simply be present. Ayutthaya, with its headless Buddhas, ancient stupas, and quiet courtyards, offers a rich tapestry of history and human experience. It is a city that rewards a slow gaze, gentle steps, and an open mind. For anyone willing to move at the pace of the ruins themselves, the city offers calm, reflection, and the soft, enduring beauty of a civilization that once was and continues to whisper across time. And so, in the quiet of early morning, amid the interplay of sunlight, stone, and trees, Ayutthaya remains a sanctuary for reflection, a place where history, nature, and human devotion meet, inviting all who wander its paths to pause, breathe, and allow the calm to settle over the mind, easing the body and encouraging a gentle, peaceful rest. Jerash, Jordan. In the gentle morning light of northern Jordan, the ancient city of Jerash emerges almost like a dream, sometimes called the Pompeii of the East. Jerash offers a remarkable window into the life of a Roman provincial city, preserved with a clarity that few sites can claim. As you approach its grand entrance, the city slowly reveals itself, an intricate mosaic of stone streets, towering columns, and structures that have endured the weight of centuries. Walking along the main colonnaded street, known as the Cardo Maximus, the scale and precision of Roman engineering become immediately apparent. Rows of towering columns rise on either side, standing like silent sentinels that have witnessed countless generations. The stones underfoot, worn smooth by the passage of feet over 2 millennia, tell stories of merchants, soldiers, and citizens who once traversed these streets daily. Temples dedicated to Roman gods still rise from the ground, their foundations solid, their design a reflection of devotion and skill. At the Temple of Artemis, the details of sculpted capitals and stone reliefs are remarkable, each carving a testament to artistic mastery. Nearby fountains and public squares hint at a city bustling with life. Children playing, water flowing, voices echoing in the open spaces, and the gentle rhythm of daily routines. One of Jerash's most evocative features is its amphitheater, still used for performances even today. Imagine stepping onto the stone seating, feeling the weight of history beneath you, and listening to the empty space echo with imagined sounds of ancient spectators. The design, perfected by Roman architects, allows every sound from a whisper to a performance to carry with astonishing clarity. Standing there, one can almost hear the faint cheers and applause of thousands who gathered for entertainment so many centuries ago. Nearby, the hippodrome tells a different story. The worn tracks of chariots are faintly visible in the soft earth, a reminder of races that once stirred both excitement and competition. The energy of the past seems tangible here, as if the spirit of those ancient games lingers, quietly observing the world as it has changed around it. Walking through these open areas, the mind naturally slows, absorbing the serenity of the space, the continuity of human experience, and the quiet majesty of Roman urban planning. Jerash is more than its buildings, it is the living story of an entire civilization. Markets that once buzzed with activity, temples echoing with ritual, and streets alive with commerce and conversation, all are captured in the stillness of stone. Even as the sun moves across the sky, the interplay of light and shadow brings the ruins to life in subtle ways. Each carved relief, each column, and each step of the colonnaded streets becomes a meditation on time itself. Walking slowly through Jerash, one notices the careful planning of the city. Squares, baths, and temples are positioned to optimize both function and beauty. The architecture reflects the balance between utility and artistry, and the scale of each structure suggests a city that held great influence in the region. It is easy to imagine processions of priests, the hum of commerce, and the laughter of children threading through these streets, all coexisting in a rhythm now frozen in stone. At the southern gate, known as the South Theater Gate, visitors pause to admire the craftsmanship of Roman builders. Massive stones, fitted with precision, form archways that have endured earthquakes, weather, and centuries of human activity. Beyond the gate, streets wind in geometric perfection, guiding travelers past temples, marketplaces, and public squares. The city's layout encourages slow exploration, a gentle meander that allows one to absorb each detail without haste. The northern part of Jerash contains additional temples and civic buildings, each echoing the same meticulous attention to detail. Columns, carved in Corinthian style, rise toward the sky, their fluted surfaces catching the light in quiet patterns. Reliefs and inscriptions tell fragments of stories, some legible, some faded, yet all inviting contemplation. Moving through these spaces, the visitor becomes aware of the passage of time, not as a linear event, but as layers of human endeavor stacked upon each other, each building on the legacy of the one before. Water channels and fountains remain, evidence of the city's advanced infrastructure. Ingenious Roman engineering brought water into public spaces, supporting both practical needs and aesthetic pleasures. The sound of flowing water, even if faint today, would have once filled the air, complementing the cadence of conversation, the clatter of hooves, and the quiet rhythms of daily life. Every corner of Jerash offers a moment of reflection. The temple of Zeus, the smaller shrines, the scattered statues, all invite a slowing of pace, a gentle observation, and an absorption of the stories that stone and earth have preserved. Sunlight shifts across surfaces, revealing textures and details previously unnoticed, and the soft whispers of wind through the columns create a natural meditation. As visitors meander through the ruins, there is a sense of connection, a bridge across centuries that allows modern travelers to feel the presence of those who walked these streets long ago. The city's layout, its architecture, and its enduring artifacts all speak to human ingenuity, resilience, and the timeless desire to create lasting beauty. Jerash encourages quiet exploration. There is no need to rush, no urgency to see everything in a single moment. Instead, each step allows the mind to absorb, to imagine, and to rest. Walking the colonnades, pausing in temple courtyards, and tracing the faint chariot tracks in the hippodrome, one feels part of a continuum, a calm awareness that human stories, even after thousands of years, continue to resonate. By midday, the ruins glow softly under the sun, shadows shift slowly across the stones, revealing the intricacies of carvings and the subtle colors of lichen and moss. Every detail, from the smallest relief to the largest arch, encourages stillness, reflection, and a gentle appreciation of history. Jerash is a place where the mind can wander, settle, and let the rhythm of the past guide a sense of calm. Even as tourists arrive, the city retains its quiet power. The architecture itself seems to regulate the flow of energy, inviting contemplation, patience, and an awareness of time's slow passage. The city whispers lessons about impermanence, continuity, and the enduring human spirit. Every ruined temple, every colonnade, every carved stone is an invitation to pause, to breathe, and to feel the weight of history without haste. In Jerash, the combination of grand Roman architecture, quiet courtyards, and enduring stories creates a space for reflection. The mind is encouraged to slow, to notice details, and to imagine the lives that once animated these streets. It is a gentle journey through time, a city that teaches patience and offers serenity through the presence of human achievement and the enduring touch of nature on stone. By the time the sun reaches its peak, the city has shared its quiet wisdom. The interplay of light, shadow, stone, and memory offers a meditative experience, one that can linger long after leaving its streets. Jerash remains a place where history, architecture, and imagination merge into a calm, reflective rhythm, a rhythm that encourages rest, contemplation, and an enduring connection to the past. El Badi Palace in Marrakesh, Morocco stands today as a striking reminder of both grandeur and decay. Built in the late 16th century by Sultan Ahmed al-Mansur, it was once among the most lavish palaces in North Africa, adorned with gold, marble, and onyx imported from across the Islamic world. Walking through the ruins today, it is difficult to imagine the magnificence that once filled these walls. The palace was constructed to impress, a symbol of the wealth, power, and ambition of a sultan whose empire extended far beyond the city. Every stone, every column, and every archway was carefully planned and executed to create a space of both beauty and authority. As you enter the palace grounds, the first thing that strikes you is the scale. The courtyards stretch expansively, vast spaces that once echoed with the footsteps of the sultan, his guards, and countless servants. It is quiet now, save for the occasional rustle of birds or the gentle wind weaving through the ruins. Storks have made their nests atop the crumbling ramparts, adding life and movement to the otherwise still structures. Their calls echo faintly across the courtyards, reminding visitors that life persists even in places where human splendor has faded. The main courtyard, which once housed elaborate fountains and gardens, is open to the sky, revealing the sun's light casting soft, shifting shadows across broken walls. Imagine the palace as it once was, courtiers moving gracefully along the marble floors, musicians playing in the halls, and the scent of exotic spices filling the air. It is a place where imagination can roam freely, conjuring scenes of opulence and ceremony from centuries past. Many of the palace's walls were decorated with intricate carvings and mosaics, some of which remain partially intact. The patterns are geometric and floral, reflecting the artistic traditions of the Islamic world at the time. Each design is a testament to the skill of the artisans who labored here, shaping stone and tile with patience, precision, and care. Even in their ruined state, the walls speak of human creativity and the desire to leave a mark that endures beyond one's lifetime. As you wander through the palace, the silence is profound. The scale of the space encourages slow, deliberate steps, each one resonating softly against the stones. You can pause in the courtyards, and imagine what life might have been like for those who lived and worked here, for the sultan who ruled from his lofty chambers, and for the countless individuals whose efforts maintained this sprawling complex. The sense of history is tangible, almost as if the walls themselves remember the voices, laughter, and footsteps that once filled the air. From elevated terraces, you can look out over the city of Marrakesh. The bustling Medina below contrasts sharply with the quiet of the palace, its markets, streets, and homes filled with the rhythm of daily life. In the distance, the Atlas Mountains rise, their peaks often capped with soft clouds, providing a serene backdrop to the palace's ruins. This juxtaposition between past and present, ruin and life, stillness and motion, creates a gentle awareness of the passage of time, the impermanence of human achievements, and the enduring nature of memory. The palace's architectural features, from the arches to the remnants of domed chambers, reveal sophisticated construction techniques. The builders of El Badi were able to create vast open spaces without compromising structural stability, demonstrating both practical skill and artistic vision. Even the ruins today reflect a deep understanding of proportion, balance, and form. It is remarkable to think that despite the passage of centuries, much of this work continues to stand, a silent witness to the ambitions and aspirations of those who created it. As you move deeper into the complex, you encounter smaller chambers and hidden passageways. These spaces once served administrative, ceremonial, or private functions, and stepping into them invites reflection on the human stories that unfolded here. Who walked these halls, carried messages, or planned decisions that shaped the course of history? Each room carries a quiet resonance, encouraging slow observation, contemplation, and a sense of connection to a world long past. The fading details of ornate decoration and the gentle crumbling of walls create a natural rhythm for the mind to follow. In this calm environment, it is easy to let thoughts drift, to imagine scenes of daily life within the palace, and to appreciate both the beauty and fragility of human endeavor. Time itself seems to slow here, inviting visitors to step lightly, observe carefully, and allow the imagination to fill in the spaces left by centuries of change. As you continue to explore, the interplay of sunlight and shadow across the palace grounds offers subtle moments of quiet revelation. Patterns in the broken tiles, the curve of a collapsed arch, or the remnants of carved plaster catch the eye and invite closer attention. In this way, the ruins of El Badi encourage mindfulness, a gentle focus on details, and a deep appreciation for the artistry, labor, and vision of those who came before. Even though the palace is no longer the opulent residence it once was, there is a lingering sense of majesty. The quiet dignity of the ruins, the nesting storks, and the vast open courtyards convey a story without words, a story of ambition, creativity, resilience, and the passage of time. It is a space that rewards patience, reflection, and a slow immersive experience, perfect for those seeking calm, contemplation, and an invitation to drift gently into rest. Walking through El Badi Palace, one cannot help but feel both the weight and the grace of history. The sultan who commissioned these walls is long gone, yet his vision persists in stone and shadow. The laborers, artisans, and countless others who made this place function remain present in memory, their contributions quietly honored through the enduring beauty of what survives. In these moments, visitors find a unique connection across centuries, a sense of continuity, and a gentle reminder of the human capacity to create and inspire. The ruins encourage deep observation. A single gaze across the main courtyard, for example, might reveal subtle details in the remaining marble or stucco that tell stories of ceremonial practices, artistic conventions, and daily routines. By allowing the mind to absorb these nuances slowly, one experiences a rhythm that mirrors the gentle unfolding patterns of history itself, offering a sense of calm and reflection. Even as time and weather continue their work on El Badi, there is a remarkable preservation of proportion, scale, and artistry. The palace remains a place of quiet wonder, inviting visitors to move slowly, consider each element, and imagine the layers of human experience embedded in the stones. It is an invitation to connect, reflect, and simply be present in a space where the past lingers in an almost tangible form. As your exploration continues, you may find small courtyards that seem almost hidden, walls that frame distant views of the city or mountains, and subtle remnants of once luxurious chambers. Each observation is a gentle reminder of the lives that were lived here, the ambitions that were realized, and the impermanence that shapes all human endeavor. The quiet of these spaces encourages reflection, thought, and a deep immersive appreciation for history, art, and architecture. Machu Picchu, Peru, written as a continuous whine. Machu Picchu, perched high in the Andes of Peru, is a place that defies ordinary description. To reach it, many travelers embark on the Inca Trail, a journey of several days through rugged mountains, dense forests, and winding paths that have been walked for centuries. The hike itself is challenging, with steep steps carved into the mountainside, high-altitude climbs, and long hours under the shifting sun and clouds. Yet for those who make the effort, Every step brings anticipation, every bend in the trail offers a fleeting glimpse of the landscape, and every breath carries the crisp, thin mountain air. As dawn approaches on the fourth day, hikers reach the Sun Gate, or Inti Punku, the ancient gateway that the Inca once used to enter the city. It is here, as the first light of morning stretches across the peaks, that Machu Picchu reveals itself in its full glory. The mist lifts slowly from the valleys, uncovering terraced fields, stone walls, and the ruins of temples and residences that cling to the mountainside with a seemingly impossible balance. The view is both overwhelming and serene, a harmonious blend of human ingenuity and the natural landscape that surrounds it. The city itself is a marvel of architecture and engineering. Every stone, carefully shaped and placed, fits together without mortar, creating walls that have endured centuries of earthquakes and weather. The terraces that cascade down the mountainside were not only designed for agriculture, but also for drainage and erosion control, showing the Inca mastery of both land and water. Walking through the ruins, one can sense the planning and precision that went into creating a city that was both functional and spiritual, a place where daily life intertwined seamlessly with religious devotion and reverence for nature. The Temple of the Sun, with its rounded walls and precise alignment with the solstices, exemplifies the Incas' understanding of astronomy and their deep connection to the cycles of the earth and sky. Observing the sunlight strike the temple at the right moment is a reminder that Machu Picchu was not merely a city but a living calendar, a place where human life and cosmic rhythms were intertwined. Every building, every pathway, and every open plaza carries traces of ritual and ceremony, subtle indications of a society that valued both the tangible and the spiritual aspects of life. Terraces and pathways wind through the city, offering moments of quiet reflection. The stones are cool underhand, smooth from centuries of exposure to rain and sun. Birds call from the forested slopes, and the wind moves gently through the ruins, carrying the scent of earth and vegetation. Each step taken among the stones evokes the presence of those who once inhabited the city, the farmers, priests, and rulers who made Machu Picchu not just a physical space but a home infused with purpose and belief. The Intihuatana stone, often called the hitching post of the sun, stands at the center of the site, its surface is carved to precise angles and alignments. Scholars believe it was used for astronomical observation, a tool to mark solstices and the changing seasons. Its name evokes the Inca understanding of the sun's power, a celestial rhythm that governed life, growth, and ritual. Standing before it today, one feels a quiet reverence, a sense that time itself was observed, measured, and respected, and that human ingenuity could mirror the movements of the heavens. Exploring the residential areas, one sees the careful design of homes and communal spaces. Stone walls, doorways, and steps are built to adapt to the uneven terrain, demonstrating a keen sensitivity to the natural environment. Water channels run through the city, guiding rainwater with precision, ensuring supply and minimizing damage. The combination of utility, beauty, and harmony is evident in every corner, every stair, and every terrace. The surrounding mountains, shrouded in mist for much of the morning, offer moments of solitude and awe. Peaks rise sharply, forests cling to the slopes, and distant valleys stretch into soft shadows. From this height, the world seems both immense and intimate. Machu Picchu feels suspended in time, a city preserved in memory and stone, where the bustle of modern life feels distant, almost unimaginable. Walking slowly along the paths, one cannot help but notice the integration of the city with the natural environment. The Inca respected the contours of the land, carving terraces into the mountainsides, situating temples on sacred peaks, and aligning structures with the sun and stars. There is a rhythm to the city, a sense of flow, where stone, vegetation, and sky form a continuous, harmonious landscape. At midday, the sun casts warm light across the terraces, highlighting the texture of stone, the green of moss, and the subtle colors of lichen. Shadows shift slowly, emphasizing the contours of the landscape and the intricate craftsmanship of the Inca builders. Even the quietest areas, far from the main viewpoints, reveal architectural ingenuity, trapezoidal doors that resist earthquakes, drainage systems that handle heavy rain, and walls that seem to grow from the earth itself. As the afternoon passes, the atmosphere grows tranquil. Fewer travelers remain, and the city takes on a meditative quality. The sound of footsteps, the call of birds, and the occasional gust of wind create a gentle background for contemplation. It is easy to imagine life here centuries ago, to picture families tending terraces, priests performing rituals, and children running along the paths. Every corner, every stone, holds echoes of past lives, moments of daily routine, and acts of devotion to gods and nature alike. The final views from high points in the city, where terraces cascade downward and the Urubamba River winds far below, offer a sense of completion. The vastness of the landscape, the precision of the city, and the enduring presence of the mountains create a feeling of calm and awe. Machu Picchu is not just a site to visit, it is a place to absorb, to breathe slowly, to let the mind wander through centuries of history, human creativity, and natural beauty. Time seems to move differently here. One can pause at the edge of a terrace, look across the ruins, and feel both the weight of history and the gentle passage of the present. The mountains, mist and stone create a cocoon of quiet, inviting slow steps, deep breaths, and a mindful awareness of place. It is a space to reflect, to imagine, and to simply exist within the quiet resonance of human achievement. As the sun begins to dip toward the horizon, the shadows lengthen, and Machu Picchu takes on a softer golden hue. The city that once thrived high in the Andes stands as a testament to the ingenuity, resilience, and vision of the Inca. Walking through its terraces, temples, and pathways, one experiences a profound connection to both history and nature, a gentle invitation to linger, to observe, and to let the mind drift in contemplation. Ollantaytambo, Peru. Ollantaytambo, nestled in the sacred valley of Peru, is a place where history and daily life coexist in a way that feels almost suspended in time. Walking through this town, you encounter both the remnants of a sophisticated Inca city and the rhythms of a modern village. The stone streets are worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, and the small houses built in traditional style sit alongside the massive terraces that climb the mountainside. These terraces, carefully engineered by the Inca, serve dual purposes. They were used for growing crops in an environment that is steep and challenging, and they also acted as defensive structures, protecting the city from potential invaders. Approaching the terraces, one can't help but marvel at the precision of the stonework. Each block, often massive and irregularly shaped, fits perfectly with its neighbors, without the use of mortar. The Inca builders understood the natural stresses of the mountain and designed the terraces to withstand erosion, landslides, and the passage of time. Every level is a testament to their ingenuity, their understanding of both agriculture and architecture, and their deep respect for the natural landscape. Ollantaytambo also serves as the gateway to the famous Inca Trail, the path that winds through valleys, over mountain passes, and past hidden ruins to eventually reach Machu Picchu. For travelers, starting the journey here is both practical and symbolic. The town is a point where the modern world meets the past. Local markets, small cafes, and the sounds of daily life blend seamlessly with the ancient stones, offering a quiet sense of continuity. One can sit on a terrace and watch the early morning fog drift through the valley, imagining the countless generations who walked the same paths, tending crops, defending the city, or performing rituals to honor their gods. The town itself has a unique character. Narrow alleys wind between houses, and the smell of bread baking or coffee brewing mingles with the cool mountain air. Children play near the fountains, and locals go about their work, all under the imposing gaze of the terraces above. There is a sense of rhythm here, a harmony between human activity and the natural environment, as if the town has grown organically around the ancient structures rather than replacing them. Exploring the fortress area of Ollantaytambo, it becomes clear why the Inca valued this site so highly. The fortress walls rise steeply from the valley floor, carved into the mountainside, and offer commanding views over the surrounding landscape. From this vantage point, it is easy to understand the strategic importance of the location. Invaders would have struggled to advance through narrow paths, steep slopes, and defensive walls, all while being observed from above. The Inca, masterful in both engineering and military planning, created a city that could withstand attacks while supporting a thriving population. The large ceremonial terraces and temples within Ollantaytambo reveal another layer of the Inca world. These structures were not only practical but also spiritual, connecting the people to the land and to their deities. Stones aligned with the sun, and mountains mark solstices and other celestial events, demonstrating the Incas' sophisticated understanding of astronomy and their belief in harmony between humans and the cosmos. Walking through these spaces, one feels a connection to rituals that occurred hundreds of years ago. The offerings, the prayers, and the careful tending of sacred spaces. Agriculture remains visible even today. Crops grow on the terraces as they did centuries ago, and the channels and irrigation systems built by the Inca still guide water through the slopes efficiently. The ingenuity of these systems is remarkable. They provide both sustenance and a sense of continuity, linking the past to the present. Observing the terraces, one can appreciate not only the technical skill, but also the deep respect the Inca had for the land, understanding its rhythms, its strengths, and its vulnerabilities. The town streets are equally fascinating. Walking slowly along the cobblestones, you notice details that hint at centuries of adaptation and change. Doors and windows have been added or modified, yet many original stones remain, holding silent witness to the lives of those who came before. Market stalls, colorful textiles, and the hum of conversation create a gentle backdrop, reminding visitors that Ollantaytambo is not just a relic of the past, but a living community. Climbing the terraces, one can feel the gradual transition from the town to the fortress. Each step offers new perspectives, the river winding below, the mountains rising sharply around, and the clouds drifting through the valleys. The sensation is both grounding and expansive. You are physically moving upward, but the mind drifts through layers of history, imagining the ceremonies, the daily routines, and the quiet moments that took place here over centuries. The fortress itself is a study in architectural mastery. Massive stones, some weighing several tons, are precisely fitted together, forming walls that have withstood earthquakes and centuries of weathering. The alignment of certain stones and terraces suggests intentional astronomical observations, hinting at the Incas' sophisticated understanding of the cosmos. Standing in these spaces, it is easy to feel a sense of awe and calm, the realization that human skill and natural beauty can coexist in perfect harmony. As the sun moves across the sky, shadows shift across the terraces, softening the stone surfaces and adding depth to the landscape. Light filters through narrow passages, illuminating carvings, steps, and small niches. The play of light and shadow adds a quiet drama to the sight, emphasizing the contours of the mountains and the precision of the Inca stonework. Every detail, from the smallest carved niche to the largest wall, contributes to a sense of deliberate intention, a harmony of function, beauty, and spiritual significance. Descending slowly back into the town, the sounds of daily life return, the chatter of vendors, the clatter of footsteps on cobblestones, and the gentle murmur of the river nearby. There is a sense of continuity here, a rhythm that has persisted through centuries, connecting the present to a past that feels both distant and immediate. One can pause at a quiet corner, breathe in the cool mountain air, and reflect on the lives of those who walked these paths long ago, recognizing that Ollantaytambo is a place where time folds in on itself, offering both history and present simultaneously. Evening light softens the terraces and the surrounding mountains, casting warm hues across the stones. The town below gradually quiets, and a gentle stillness settles over the valley. In this calm, one can absorb the layers of human ingenuity, resilience, and connection to the natural world that define Ollantaytambo. The terraces, streets, and fortress together tell a story of people who lived, worked, worshipped, and thrived in harmony with both their environment and their beliefs. Banditachia Necropolis at Cerveteri, 900–200 BC. The Banditachia Necropolis at Cerveteri, stretching across the gentle hills of the Lazio region in Italy, is one of the most remarkable glimpses into Etruscan life and death. Walking into the necropolis, you immediately sense a space both ancient and profound, a place where time has been folded upon itself for over 2 millennia. These burial grounds, carved meticulously into the soft, tough stone, served as eternal homes for the Etruscans, reflecting not only their beliefs about the afterlife, but also their social structures, artistry, and daily life. The necropolis is vast, extending for kilometers, with hundreds of tombs arranged in patterns that resemble a small city. Each tomb carries its own story. The Etruscans designed these spaces to mimic houses, complete with rooms, doorways, and furniture carved directly from the stone. Walking through the corridors, you can almost hear the echoes of families preparing these eternal homes, imagining the care with which they decorated each chamber, the offerings they left, and the reverence they held for their ancestors. As you wander slowly among the tombs, the first thing that becomes apparent is the ingenuity of the Etruscans. The architecture is both functional and symbolic, with circular and rectangular tombs arranged to create neighborhoods within this city of the dead. The larger, more ornate tombs speak of wealth and status, their chambers adorned with carvings depicting feasts, banquets, and ceremonial activities. These images offer glimpses into the lives of those long gone, their celebrations, their roles within society, and their beliefs about what awaited them beyond life. One of the most captivating aspects of Banditachia is the sheer variety of tomb types. From mound-shaped tumuli, resembling miniature hills, to intricate rock-cut structures, the necropolis demonstrates a deep understanding of space, engineering, and artistry. As you move from one tomb to another, you notice the subtle differences. Some have carved staircases leading to underground chambers. Others display elaborately sculpted facades with columns and decorative motifs. Each tomb is a silent testament to the personality, status, and aspirations of the individual buried within. The Etruscans, often overshadowed by their Roman successors, were highly sophisticated. Their mastery of stone carving, urban planning, and funerary rituals is evident in every corner of the necropolis. Walking along the quiet pathways, you can almost sense the rhythm of life that preceded the final rest, the laughter, the rituals, the gestures of respect and care. It is a deeply human space, one that connects us to a civilization that thrived in this region for centuries, leaving behind an enduring legacy of art, belief, and innovation. As your eyes move over the carved sarcophagi and carefully arranged interiors, you begin to notice the details that reveal the Etruscans' relationship with both the living and the dead. Banquet scenes etched into stone show people reclining, sharing meals, and performing rituals. These images were not mere decoration, they were symbolic, a way to ensure that the pleasures and practices of life continued into the afterlife. Every line, every carved figure, whispers a story of human longing, of memory preserved through stone. The tumuli themselves rise gently from the landscape, blending into the rolling hills. From a distance, they appear almost like small hills dotting the countryside, but as you approach, the craftsmanship becomes apparent. Doorways carved with precision, niches for offerings, and chambers designed for both protection and ritual invite contemplation. The necropolis is not merely a cemetery, it is a carefully planned space that embodies a culture's deepest values, an architectural expression of respect, continuity, and reverence. As you move further into Banditakia, the scale of the necropolis becomes more evident. Some sections are densely packed, a labyrinth of tombs connected by narrow pathways and open courtyards. Others are more isolated, set apart, perhaps marking the resting places of families of particular prominence or wealth. The arrangement of tombs across the landscape suggests deliberate planning, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of both community and landscape management. Inside the tombs, the carvings tell stories that transcend time. You see figures holding vessels, musicians playing flutes, dancers in flowing robes, and individuals reclining on carved beds. These depictions allow us to imagine moments frozen in eternity, the quiet rituals, the shared meals, the ceremonies that honored the departed. In these stone chambers, life and death are intertwined, and the Etruscans' belief in the continuity of existence is palpable. Walking along the quiet paths of the necropolis, you notice the interplay of light and shadow across the carved facades. Morning sunlight glances off the stone surfaces, illuminating details with gentle warmth. As the day progresses, the shadows deepen, accentuating the textures and contours, highlighting the care and artistry that went into every tomb. The Etruscans understood not only stone but also how to integrate their architecture with the natural environment, creating spaces that feel alive, even in silence. Beyond the tombs themselves, the necropolis offers a broader sense of the Etruscan world. The surrounding countryside, with its rolling hills and scattered settlements, provides context for understanding how these people lived, worked, and related to their environment. Agriculture, trade, and cultural exchange all contributed to the richness reflected in their burial practices. In every carved stone and carefully designed chamber, we see the intersection of daily life, ritual, and aspiration. As you move deeper into the necropolis, the sense of quiet reflection grows. The spaces between tombs, the gentle slopes of the hills, and the occasional olive tree provide a natural rhythm that guides the mind into calm contemplation. Here, surrounded by centuries of history, it is easy to feel a connection to something larger than oneself, a continuity of human experience, a reminder that life and memory endure through time, even as civilizations rise and fall. Evening light casts long shadows across the necropolis, softening the edges of the stone structures. The air grows cooler, carrying the scent of earth and vegetation. It is a time for quiet observation, for imagining the lives of those who built, inhabited, and honored these spaces. Each tomb, each carving, speaks not only of death, but of a life remembered, of a culture that valued artistry, ritual, and the bonds between generations. In Banditakia, the past is never distant. It surrounds you, enveloping the senses, inviting the mind to wander and reflect. The necropolis is a place of calm, of meditation, and of profound respect. The stones hold stories, and as you walk among them, listening to the quiet whispers of history, a sense of peace emerges, a feeling that the Etruscans, through their careful work and reverence, continue to watch over the land and its people. By the time you leave the necropolis, the experience lingers. The rows of tombs, the carved figures, and the gentle slopes of the hills remain imprinted in the mind. The Banditakia necropolis at Cerveteri is not merely a destination, it is a journey through time, a space that encourages reflection, calm, and a deeper appreciation for the ingenuity and humanity of those who came before. Sigiriya, the Lion Rock fortress of Sri Lanka, rising dramatically from the flat plains of Sri Lanka's central province. Sigiriya, also known as Lion Rock, commands attention from miles away. Its massive granite plateau soars nearly 200 meters above the surrounding jungle, forming a natural citadel that has fascinated travelers, historians, and archaeologists for centuries. As you approach the site, the first impression is one of awe. This is a place where human ingenuity and natural majesty meet in a remarkable harmony. The history of Sigiriya stretches back over 15 centuries, to the reign of King Kasyapa in AD 477. Seeking a secure location to protect himself from political rivals, he transformed this imposing rock into an extraordinary fortress palace, complete with gardens, water features, frescoes, and terraces that climb the rock face. Standing at the base, it is difficult to imagine the scale of the construction, the labor and the vision that went into creating such a monumental structure. Every step, every pathway, and every carved detail was designed with purpose and precision. Ascending the rock is a journey in itself. The stairways wind carefully along the cliff face, and halfway up, the massive lion gate greets you. Its enormous paws, carved directly from the stone, hint at the grandeur that awaited visitors more than 1,000 years ago. Once inside the main plateau, you are surrounded by the remains of a palace complex, offering expansive views of the surrounding countryside. From this vantage point, the lush green plains stretch to the horizon, punctuated by rivers, forests, and distant mountains, a reminder of the natural beauty that has remained unchanged for centuries. The gardens at Sigiriya are among the most remarkable features of the site, laid out with a meticulous understanding of water management and aesthetics. The terraced gardens, pools, and fountains reflect a sophisticated knowledge of engineering. Water channels run silently through the stone, designed to nourish the gardens and create a sense of serenity and beauty. The interplay of nature and human craftsmanship is evident at every turn, inviting slow observation and quiet reflection. One of Sigiriya's most famous features is the frescoes that adorn the rock face. These vibrant paintings, protected by natural overhangs, depict women adorned in elaborate jewelry, moving gracefully across the cliffside. Their colors, though faded by centuries, still radiate warmth and life, offering a glimpse into the artistry and cultural sophistication of the era. Standing before them, one can almost imagine the skill and patience of the artists who created these works, each brushstroke a testament to dedication and vision. As you explore the ruins of the palace, it becomes clear that Sigiriya was more than a fortress. It was a statement of power, prestige, and culture. The layout of the site, the precision of the masonry, and the integration of natural features all reflect careful planning. Pools and cisterns captured and stored rainwater, ensuring a reliable supply, while terraces provided space for reflection, gathering, and leisure. Every element was designed not only for utility, but for beauty, creating a space that celebrated both human ingenuity and the natural world. Sigiriya also tells stories of human ambition, rivalry, and tragedy. King Kasyapa's decision to build this fortress palace was born from fear, yet the site became a symbol of his reign. Archaeologists suggest that the fortress' defensive design, high vantage points, and complex access routes were essential for the protection of the king and his treasures. The history of Sigiriya is intertwined with tales of power struggles, political intrigue, and the impermanence of human ambition, set against the timelessness of the rock itself. Walking along the pathways and terraces, you notice small details that reveal the careful thought invested in the fortress. Carvings, sculptures, and architectural features are designed with both function and beauty in mind. Even the placement of the gardens, pools, and frescoes demonstrates an understanding of perspective, space, and harmony. These elements invite a slow, thoughtful exploration, where each step reveals another layer of history and culture. The ascent to the summit of Sigiriya is both physical and contemplative. As you climb, the city below gradually unfolds, revealing the ancient urban planning and agricultural layouts that supported the fortress. From the top, the panoramic views are breathtaking. The surrounding forests, rivers, and plains stretch endlessly, while the remnants of the palace complex offer a sense of scale and grandeur that words can barely capture. Here, the intersection of natural beauty and human ambition is most apparent, allowing the mind to wander gently through time. Sigiriya's cultural significance extends beyond its architecture. The frescoes, inscriptions, and water features all contribute to a holistic vision of life at the fortress. Scholars believe that Sigiriya served as a hub for administration, art, and social gatherings, a space where the elite could live, entertain, and display their status. The careful integration of natural and man-made features reflects a culture deeply attuned to balance, aesthetics, and the interplay between human and environment. Even today, Sigiriya carries an aura of calm and reflection. The sound of wind through the trees, the distant calls of birds, and the gentle trickle of water in the ancient channels create a soothing atmosphere. Walking slowly, observing every detail, you begin to appreciate not just the historical and architectural significance of Sigiriya, but also the sense of peace that can be found amidst its ruins. The Lion Rock is a testament to the resilience of human creativity. Despite the passage of centuries, earthquakes, and the encroachment of nature, the fortress still stands, inviting exploration and quiet contemplation. Each carved stair, each terrace, and each fresco is a reminder of the ingenuity, skill, and vision of those who came before. Sigiriya encourages us to slow down, observe, and reflect on the impermanence of human life, contrasted with the enduring beauty of nature and stone. As the day draws on and shadows stretch across the terraces, pools, and frescoed walls, Sigiriya continues to inspire awe. The blend of artistic sophistication, engineering marvel, and natural grandeur provides a rare experience, one where history, culture, and the quiet rhythm of the natural world converge. Here, time seems to slow, allowing visitors to drift gently through the centuries, absorbing the stories, the beauty, and the ingenuity of a civilization long past. Ostia Antica, the ancient port of Rome. Walking through Ostia Antica, it is easy to forget that this city was once the bustling gateway to the great empire of Rome. Founded around the 4th century BC and flourishing by AD 100, Ostia served as Rome's primary harbor, connecting the capital to trade routes across the Mediterranean. As you enter the site today, the streets, squares, and buildings offer a window into daily life almost 2,000 years ago, a time when commerce, culture, and human ambition shaped every corner of this remarkable city. The first impression is one of scale and organization. Unlike many other Roman sites, Ostia Antica retains its street plan, with a network of roads lined with houses, warehouses, shops, and temples. Walking along the decayed paving stones, you can imagine the merchants and sailors who once moved goods along these streets: grain, olive oil, wine, and exotic imports arriving from distant lands. The air might have been thick with the scent of spices, the sound of haggling voices, and the clatter of hooves on stone. Today that hustle is replaced by gentle breezes and the occasional call of a bird, but the traces of human life linger in every ruin. The Forum of Ostia, a large open square at the heart of the city, reveals the civic life that once thrived here. Temples dedicated to Jupiter, Ceres, and other deities stand as silent witnesses to centuries of ritual, commerce, and community gathering. Pilasters, columns, and stone carvings give hints of a city that balanced function with aesthetic grandeur. As you wander, you can sense the rhythm of everyday life: the early morning prayers, the midday gatherings, and the evening routines that define the lives of ordinary Romans. The residential quarters are equally fascinating. Many houses feature mosaic floors, frescoed walls, and traces of intricate stucco work, offering glimpses into the domestic lives of Ostia's citizens. The apartment-style insulae housed families, often with shops or workshops on the ground floor. Here, the separation of private and public spaces mirrors a society attuned to both practicality and social norms. Standing quietly in a long-forgotten courtyard, it is easy to feel the presence of those who lived here, their footsteps echoing faintly across the centuries. One of Ostia's most remarkable features is its network of warehouses and storage facilities. These massive structures remind us of the city's role as a hub of trade and supply. Grain, amphorae of wine, olive oil, and other commodities flowed through Ostia's docks, feeding the city of Rome and beyond. The precision of the architecture, with its high ceilings, stone floors, and ventilation systems, reflects an advanced understanding of engineering and logistics. Even today, you can trace the movement of goods and people through the carefully designed spaces, a testament to the city's ingenuity. Ostia Antica also reveals much about Roman leisure and entertainment. The theater, with its stone seating and intricate stage area, would have hosted performances, music, and gatherings. Imagine the laughter, the applause, the dramatic recitations echoing against the stone walls. Nearby bath complexes provided not only hygiene but social interaction, a place where the citizens of Ostia would relax, converse, and connect with neighbors. The flowing water systems, sophisticated heating, and decorative mosaics demonstrate a remarkable commitment to comfort and aesthetics, even in a city centered on trade. As you explore further, you notice small details that reveal the city's culture and everyday life. Graffiti etched into walls, inscriptions commemorating local officials, and votive offerings hint at personal stories, desires, and prayers. These fragments of human expression bring Ostia to life, connecting the modern observer with the people who lived, worked, and dreamed here nearly 2 millennia ago. It is these details, small yet enduring, that create a sense of intimacy with a city that has long been silent. The harbor area, though now distant from the sea due to sedimentation, speaks to Ostia's importance as a maritime hub. Imagine ships arriving, their sails billowing, crews unloading precious goods from across the Mediterranean. Merchants would have negotiated fiercely, sailors shared tales from faraway lands, and goods from Egypt, Greece, and North Africa would have been stacked in preparation for their journey inland to Rome. The scale and sophistication of this operation underline the city's critical role in sustaining an empire, while the quiet streets today allow us to contemplate the human effort required to make it all possible. Temples, altars, and statues throughout the city convey a deep spiritual dimension. Romans were highly attuned to the presence of gods in daily life, and Ostia is no exception. Each corner, each square, and even private homes contain spaces for worship. The inscriptions and carvings left behind suggest a city alive with religious practice, celebration, and ritual, giving modern visitors a glimpse of a spiritual life intertwined with trade and civic activity. One of the most striking aspects of Ostia Antica is its remarkable preservation. Unlike many other Roman sites, Ostia's layout, streets, and public buildings are intact enough to allow a visitor to experience the city as a living space. Walking along the ancient roads, pausing at the forums, entering the baths and theaters, it is possible to feel the pulse of a city frozen in time. The quiet of the modern landscape, the rustle of leaves, and the distant calls of birds enhance this meditative experience, inviting reflection and a gentle journey through history. Ostia Antica's beauty lies not only in its architecture, but also in its ability to convey the rhythm of daily life. From dawn until dusk, citizens would have gone about their routines, conducting business, tending to homes, participating in civic affairs, and worshipping in temples. Each step you take today mirrors 1,000 footsteps before, creating a subtle connection across centuries. The human presence lingers, whispering stories of ambition, family, community, and culture. As you continue your slow exploration, it becomes clear that Ostia is more than a collection of ruins. It is a city of human experience, preserved in stone, mosaics, and inscriptions. It teaches patience, observation, and reflection. Each wall, floor, and carving invites the visitor to imagine life in an ancient port city, to feel the pulse of a civilization that shaped the course of history, and to rest in the quiet majesty of its streets. By the time you reach the outskirts of the site, the sun's gentle light filters through the trees, casting shadows across the decayed structures. Ostia Antica offers a sense of continuity, bridging the millennia and allowing the imagination to wander freely. The echoes of merchants, sailors, citizens, and children still resonate faintly, offering a calm meditative space for contemplation and gentle dreaming. Ostia Antica is not merely an archaeological park, it is a living story. Every street, every forum, every bathhouse and temple has a tale to tell. Walking here, one cannot help but feel connected to the past, to the human lives that once animated these spaces, and to the quiet, enduring rhythm of history itself. It is a place that encourages slow thought, reflection, and a gentle drifting into the stories of people long gone, yet forever present in the stones and mosaics they left behind. Sutton Hoo, secrets beneath the English earth. Sutton Hoo sits quietly in the gentle undulating hills of Suffolk, England, a landscape that seems ordinary at first glance. Yet beneath this green, peaceful earth lies one of the most extraordinary archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. The site is famous for its early medieval ship burial, a resting place of a powerful Anglo-Saxon individual, possibly a king, whose treasures would reveal the wealth, artistry, and complexity of a world that existed more than 1400 years ago. As you approach Sutton Hoo today, the rolling fields and scattered woodlands evoke a sense of calm and timelessness. Imagine, centuries ago, a society navigating the edge of a changing world, balancing traditions of the past with the stirrings of a new era. The Anglo-Saxons were skilled craftsmen, warriors, and travelers, and Sutton Hoo preserves the echoes of their lives in ways few sites can match. The centerpiece of the site is, of course, the ship burial itself. While the wooden vessel has long since decayed, its outline remains perfectly preserved in the soil, and the careful excavation revealed a wealth of artifacts carefully arranged within. The burial was no ordinary grave, it was a statement of power, status, and belief in an afterlife. Within the soil, archaeologists uncovered an array of treasures, intricately designed helmets, ornate sword hilts, silver bowls, gold jewelry, and delicate coins, all speaking to the sophistication of Anglo-Saxon artistry. Each piece seems to whisper stories of the hands that shaped them, the rituals that accompanied their placement, and the respect given to the individual lying at the heart of the mound. Walking through Sutton Hoo's landscape, it is easy to imagine the preparation for this burial. A ship carefully positioned, treasures laid with reverence, and the presence of people observing sacred rites. The air would have been heavy with the scent of wood smoke, incense, and the solemnity of mourning. Today, the calm of the fields contrasts sharply with the vibrancy of that ancient moment. Yet there is a lingering connection, a quiet invitation to witness human care, creativity, and devotion. The helmet discovered at Sutton Hoo is perhaps the most iconic artifact. Its design is breathtaking, adorned with abstract animal motifs, finely hammered patterns, and a faceplate that conveys both authority and protection. Scholars and historians have debated its symbolism, but all agree on its artistry and significance. In the hands of the Anglo-Saxons, such an object would have been a mark of status and a talisman, carrying spiritual as well as practical meaning. It invites us to reflect, not just on the power of the person it belonged to, but on the cultural values and artistic skill of a civilization now centuries removed. Around the burial mound, other smaller graves reveal a network of settlements, lives, and daily routines. Tools, pottery, and personal items tell us that Sutton Hoo was more than a ceremonial center. It was part of a living, breathing community. Farmers, warriors, artisans, and children all left traces behind, small yet meaningful, connecting the modern visitor to the pulse of ordinary life alongside extraordinary events. The way these artifacts are preserved allows for a meditation on continuity, the intersection of everyday existence and extraordinary moments in history. The arrangement of the burial reflects a careful understanding of both symbolism and spirituality. The ship, acting as a vessel to the afterlife, suggests a society attuned to the idea of journey and transition. Placement of treasures along the length of the ship demonstrates deliberate choices, a choreography that speaks to religious beliefs, social hierarchies, and familial devotion. Walking along the outline of the burial mound, it is possible to imagine the quiet reverence, the careful hands, and the solemn rituals that accompanied this preparation. The richness of Sutton Hoo's artifacts reveals connections far beyond England. Some of the objects suggest trade or cultural exchange with Scandinavia and the broader European continent, highlighting that even in this early medieval period societies were interconnected. Coins from distant lands, stylistic influences on the jewelry, and materials sourced from afar demonstrate a world engaged in travel, commerce, and communication, despite the distance and difficulty of travel at the time. Sutton Hoo, in this sense, becomes a lens through which we can observe a society both local and cosmopolitan, rooted in its own traditions yet aware of the wider world. As you wander the site today, the quiet of the Suffolk countryside enhances the meditative experience. The mounds, the trees, and the long views over fields allow for reflection. It is easy to envision the ship as it was, the treasures as they lay in perfect order, and the humans who performed these sacred acts with devotion, skill, and intention. The presence of the past is subtle, felt in the air and in the earth, and the imagination fills the gaps with rich, calm imagery of life and ceremony. Sutton Hoo also teaches us about the passage of time and the resilience of human memory. Though centuries have passed, the soil and the artifacts retain fragments of the people who once lived here. Modern archaeology bridges the gap, carefully uncovering, documenting, and preserving these stories for the future. The methods of excavation, the interpretation of finds, and the reconstruction of events allow us to experience history not just as a series of dates and names, but as a living, breathing reality. Each helmet, coin, or silver bowl carries a narrative waiting to be slowly appreciated. The mounds themselves, now gently rolling and covered with grass, were once towering markers of significance. They guided travelers, warned of power, and celebrated achievement. In the quiet of today, they invite contemplation and reflection. They remind us that human expression is not fleeting. It can endure for millennia when placed with care and intention. The juxtaposition of natural quiet and human imprint creates a serene space where one can imagine history unfolding slowly, moment by moment, generation by generation. Sutton Hoo's legacy is not just in its treasures or its ship, but in its ability to connect us with the humanity of the past. The hopes, fears, beliefs, and creativity of the Anglo-Saxons remain tangible. They reach across time to touch modern eyes, allowing a deep, calming meditation on civilization, artistry, and mortality. Here the past is neither distant nor abstract. It is present, whispered softly through the earth and artifacts that remain. As the day passes, the Suffolk sun casts gentle shadows across the mounds. The air is still, carrying the sense of centuries gone by. Sutton Hoo invites visitors to slow down, to observe carefully, and to feel the quiet majesty of human endeavor preserved in the soil. It is a place for reflection, for appreciation, and for gentle wonder, providing a meditative journey through time and memory. The site of Olympia, echoes of ancient games, nestled in the gentle valley of the Alpheus River in the Peloponnese, Greece. Olympia is a place where history seems to linger softly in the air. Today the site is quiet, the hum of modern life distant, leaving only the faint rustle of the olive trees and the soft murmur of the river. Yet for thousands of years, this valley was the heart of athletic excellence, religious devotion, and human ambition. Olympia was not just a collection of buildings, it was a stage for the celebration of physical prowess, spiritual dedication, and the unity of communities across the Greek world. As you step into the site, it is easy to imagine the sound of footsteps on the carefully laid stones of the ancient stadium, the cheers of spectators gathered to witness feats of strength, speed, and endurance. Athletes trained tirelessly here, their every movement guided by discipline, ritual, and the hope of glory. The stadium itself stretches across the valley, its remains a testament to the care and precision of ancient builders. From the gentle slope of the bleachers to the flattened arena where runners and chariots once competed, every stone speaks of centuries of human endeavor. The sanctuary of Olympia was more than just a sports complex. Temples dedicated to gods such as Zeus and Hera dominated the landscape, their marble columns and carved pediments reflecting the artistry and religious devotion of the people who built them. The Temple of Zeus, though partially ruined today, still conveys a sense of grandeur and solemnity. Within it once stood the massive gold and ivory statue of Zeus, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Imagine the soft glow of sunlight filtering through the columns, illuminating the figure of the god, as priests and visitors alike offered prayers and sacrifices. Walking among the ruins, one can see the workshops where statues, tools, and votive offerings were crafted. The air seems to carry the whispers of sculptors shaping marble, of artisans refining bronze, and of worshippers placing their hopes and fears into carefully made offerings. Olympia was a place where the physical and spiritual worlds intertwined, and the remains today hint at that seamless connection. The stadium, the temples, and the training grounds were surrounded by sacred groves, olive trees, and altars. Pilgrims would come from across the Greek world, carrying gifts and sacrifices, participating in rituals that bound city-states together through shared culture and faith. The games were more than athletic contests. They were celebrations of human potential, moral virtue, and devotion to the gods. One can almost hear the chants and the prayers, the murmur of anticipation before a race, the quiet reverence as offerings were made at the temples. The artistry of Olympia is not limited to its architecture. Every stone carving, every frieze, every inscription speaks of a society deeply attuned to both beauty and meaning. Bronze sculptures of athletes captured the ideal form of the human body, emphasizing not just strength, but balance, poise, and grace. Pottery found on the site depicts scenes of competitions, ceremonies, and mythological stories, preserving the imagination and daily life of the ancient Greeks. These artifacts serve as quiet reminders of the people who lived, competed, and prayed here, bridging the centuries with subtle elegance. Olympia's sacred spaces reveal a culture that valued harmony between mind, body, and spirit. The gymnasiums and palastra were places of rigorous physical training, but also of philosophical discussion and artistic creation. Young men prepared their bodies for the games, but they also learned about ethics, politics, and poetry, forming the foundation of a society that celebrated holistic development. The remains of these structures allow modern visitors to trace the footsteps of those who once trained and studied here, to imagine the rhythms of daily life alongside extraordinary spectacles. The games themselves were held every 4 years, and the entire Greek world paused in anticipation. Athletes from distant city-states arrived with banners, musicians and supporters, bringing excitement and diversity to Olympia. Victors were celebrated not only for their skill, but for their embodiment of arete, the ideal of excellence in mind, body and spirit. Their names were recorded on stone, their achievements immortalized, and the memory of their triumphs became part of the collective identity of the Hellenic world. As the sun moves across the valley today, it casts gentle light across the ruins, highlighting the textures of ancient stone, the soft curves of columns, and the contours of the stadium. The wind carries the faint scent of olive trees and wildflowers, creating an atmosphere of calm reflection. Walking slowly through Olympia, it is possible to feel a connection not only to the athletes and priests of the past, but to the enduring values of discipline, devotion, and aspiration that define their lives. The site also offers glimpses into the daily life of Olympia's inhabitants. Residences, workshops, and streets suggest a community that thrived alongside the sacred and ceremonial spaces. Farmers, artisans, and traders all played their part in sustaining this hub of culture and faith. Archaeological discoveries reveal the complexity of their economy, the ingenuity of their engineering, and the subtle beauty of their art, providing a comprehensive portrait of life in this extraordinary center. Even today, Olympia continues to inspire. The concept of the Olympic Games, revived in the modern era, draws directly from this ancient sanctuary, reminding the world of the enduring power of human aspiration. Yet beyond the modern spectacle, the quiet earth of Olympia preserves a more intimate story, the story of a place where people gathered to test their limits, honor the divine, and leave a mark on the centuries to come. Strolling along the remnants of temples, the edges of the stadium, and the groves that once framed sacred rituals, one can sense the rhythm of ancient life, the preparation, the competition, the reverence, and the celebration. Every corner of Olympia speaks of human effort and devotion, a legacy that has survived countless centuries of change, decay, and rediscovery. Sitting on a grassy slope, looking over the remains of Olympia, the mind drifts into reflection. The past here is neither distant nor silent. It is present in the subtle forms, in the careful lines of stone, in the faint shadows of what once was. The story of Olympia is a meditation on endurance, aspiration, and connection, a reminder that even in silence, history can speak profoundly to those who listen. The Valley of the Kings, echoes of eternal rest. Hidden amidst the arid cliffs on the west bank of the Nile near Luxor, the Valley of the Kings is a place where time seems to stretch and fold upon itself. For over 3.5 millennia, this secluded valley has been the final resting place of pharaohs, nobles, and those who shaped ancient Egypt's destiny. Walking here today, the modern world feels distant, replaced by the quiet, solemn presence of history, carved deep into the rocks and sand. As you approach the entrances of the tombs, the sheer scale of human ambition and artistry becomes apparent. Each tomb was a carefully planned journey into eternity, designed to protect the deceased and ensure a safe passage to the afterlife. The walls, once vibrant with paintings, murals, and hieroglyphs, tell stories of gods, goddesses, and the pharaoh's journey beyond death. The colors may have faded over millennia, but the essence of their devotion and faith remains palpable. Walking through the corridors, it is easy to imagine the ancient workers who meticulously carved each passage, each chamber, with precision and care. The air within the tombs is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of stone and centuries of history. Every step echoes softly, reminding you that these spaces were built not for the living, but for those whose names would resonate through eternity. The tombs themselves vary in scale and complexity. Some are simple chambers, resting places of lesser-known nobles, while others, like the tomb of Tutankhamun, reveal layers of artistry, symbolism, and wealth. Golden sarcophagi, intricate jewelry, and finely crafted amulets were all placed with careful thought, intended to serve the deceased in the world beyond. The treasures speak not just of wealth, but of belief, of the desire to honor life, power, and the divine even in death. The Valley of the Kings was more than a burial ground. It was a sacred space where architecture, art, and spirituality converged. Temples and chapels nearby facilitated rituals, offerings, and ceremonies to guide the dead on their journey. Priests would perform these rites, their chants and incense, creating a bridge between the world of the living and the eternal realm. Even now, the silence of the valley seems to carry echoes of those ancient ceremonies, whispering stories of devotion, reverence, and the human need to remember. The tomb walls, decorated with depictions of gods like Osiris, Anubis, and Ra, illustrate the path the soul would take after death. They show the trials, protections, and rewards that awaited the pharaohs. Every scene is carefully placed to convey not just myth, but guidance, teaching, and hope. It is a silent instruction manual for eternity, a testament to the belief that death was not an end, but a continuation of life in a divine order. Exploring deeper, one can feel the intimacy of the spaces, narrow corridors, chambers stacked upon chambers, hidden shafts leading to secrets of kings long past. Each corner holds a sense of reverence, a reminder of the meticulous planning and devotion that went into every burial. The tomb builders understood the fragility of life and sought to create permanence in stone, a sanctuary that would endure beyond the passing of ages. The landscape around the valley is stark yet beautiful. Jagged cliffs rise above, their ochre and sandstone tones catching the soft light of dawn or dusk. The desert winds whisper over the ridges, carrying grains of sand that have seen millennia pass, witnessing countless generations come and go. It is easy here to feel the vastness of time, the persistence of memory, and the quiet determination of a civilization that sought to conquer not just life, but death itself. Visitors today may notice the careful preservation work, as archaeologists and conservators strive to maintain the delicate murals and structures. Their efforts allow us to glimpse the world of ancient Egypt with clarity, while still feeling the mystery and sanctity of the tombs. Every restored painting, every catalogued artifact, tells a story of discovery, of patience, and of the enduring power of human curiosity and care. The Valley of the Kings also holds secrets that continue to intrigue researchers. Hidden chambers, unexplored corridors, and unrecorded tombs remain buried beneath centuries of rock and sand. Some discoveries have rewritten our understanding of Egyptian history, revealing unexpected rulers, forgotten dynasties, and new insights into daily life, spirituality, and governance. The valley is both a tomb and a treasure trove, a place where every layer of rock has a story to tell, waiting patiently for those who seek it. Walking slowly through the valley, one can almost hear the muted echo of ancient footsteps, the laborers shaping stone, the priests performing rites, the mourners accompanying the deceased on their journey. The air is thick with memory, a presence that is felt more than seen, a gentle reminder that this landscape has been sacred for thousands of years. The sun moves across the cliffs, casting shifting shadows that bring the carved reliefs and entrances to life. As if the valley itself breathes softly, the Valley of the Kings stands as a testament to human ingenuity, faith, and the desire to preserve legacy. Each tomb is a window into the aspirations, fears, and beliefs of a civilization that, despite the passage of millennia, still speaks to us in quiet, profound ways. It is a place of reflection, where the past is tangible, where silence is rich with history, and where the faintest sounds carry the weight of centuries. Sitting at the edge of the valley, watching the fading light touch the tops of the tomb entrances, it is easy to feel a connection to the past. Here, amid the stones and sand, life and death, ambition and devotion, one can sense the timeless rhythm of human existence. The Valley of the Kings does not rush. It allows contemplation, gentle observation, and a deep understanding of the human desire to leave something eternal behind. In the calm of this ancient Egyptian valley, the story of the pharaohs, their families, and their civilization continues to unfold in whispers. Every carving, every artifact, and every shadow speaks to the continuity of memory and the enduring wonder of human creativity. It is here, in the quiet of the cliffs and tombs, that we can reflect on the passage of time, the fragility of life, and the profound desire to be remembered. The Valley of the Kings invites us to slow down, to breathe, and to listen carefully to the echoes of a world long past, allowing the mind to wander gently through the corridors of history and into a serene, contemplative stillness. Monasteries of Meteora, perched between heaven and earth, high above the plains of Thessaly, Greece, rise the extraordinary rock formations of Meteora, colossal pillars of stone that seem to defy gravity. Amidst these natural towers, perched precariously on their summits, are the monasteries that give the region its name, Meteora, which translates to suspended in the air. To step into this landscape is to enter a world where nature and human devotion meet, a place that feels both timeless and impossibly serene. The monasteries were built beginning in the 14th century, a response to both spiritual calling and practical necessity. Monks sought solitude, places to dedicate their lives entirely to prayer, meditation, and study. The heights of the cliffs offered protection from invaders and a separation from the distractions of the world below. The effort required to construct these monastic complexes was extraordinary, demanding ingenuity, courage, and unwavering faith. Stones were hauled up in nets and baskets, and wooden scaffolds were anchored against sheer cliffs, a testament to human determination against impossible odds. As you approach Meteora today, the scale of the rock pillars is breathtaking. The smooth vertical walls rise hundreds of feet, their surfaces shaped by millennia of wind, water, and erosion. Small patches of vegetation cling to crevices, and birds circle above, their wings tracing graceful arcs in the open sky. The monasteries, with their tiled roofs, stone walls, and simple crosses, appear almost as natural extensions of the cliffs themselves, blending seamlessly into the dramatic landscape. Inside the monasteries, time slows. The rooms are quiet, and the air is filled with the faint scent of incense, aged wood, and stone warmed by the sun. Frescoes line the walls, depicting saints, biblical scenes, and moments of devotion. Each brushstroke carries centuries of reverence, a connection to generations of monks who have prayed, studied, and lived within these walls. The simplicity of the living quarters, modest beds, small kitchens, and communal spaces, reflects a life of humility and contemplation, focused entirely on the spiritual rather than the material. Reaching the monasteries often requires a climb, whether by stone steps carved into the rock, narrow pathways winding along the cliffs, or even the original ladders and rope systems that were once used. This journey itself becomes a form of meditation, each step a quiet reflection, every breath mingling with the cool mountain air. The ascent offers expansive views of the plains below, the patchwork of fields, villages, and winding rivers stretching out toward the horizon. From this height, the world feels smaller, quieter, and infinitely more peaceful. Meteora is more than just an architectural marvel. It is a living testament to human perseverance, faith, and creativity. The monks who built and inhabited these monasteries sought to reach closer to the divine, and in doing so they created spaces that continue to inspire awe and reflection. Today, a handful of monasteries remain active, maintaining the centuries-old traditions of prayer, scholarship, and hospitality. Visitors are welcomed with quiet respect, invited to walk the cloisters, admire the art, and experience a fraction of the contemplative life that has endured here for hundreds of years. The natural environment itself contributes to the sense of serenity. The wind brushes softly across the cliffs, carrying the faint rustle of leaves and the distant hum of wildlife. Morning light spills across the rocks, casting long shadows and revealing every crease and crevice in the ancient stone. As the sun rises higher, the colors shift, highlighting the reds, oranges, and grays of the rock, and giving the monasteries a warm golden glow. In these moments, the landscape seems almost alive, breathing with quiet majesty, and the monasteries appear as silent guardians of the cliffs. Walking through the corridors and chapels, one senses the continuity of history. Every doorway, every arch, and every icon tells a story of devotion, resilience, and adaptation. The monks carefully preserved manuscripts, religious texts, and art, protecting knowledge through periods of upheaval and conflict. Meteora became not only a spiritual sanctuary, but also a repository of culture, learning, and wisdom, offering insight into the medieval world and the enduring human quest for meaning. The experience of Meteora is not just visual, but deeply emotional. There is a sense of calm that permeates the air, a quiet that allows the mind to wander, reflect, and breathe. Sitting on a ledge, looking out over the valleys below, one can imagine the countless travelers, pilgrims, and monks who made this journey before, each carrying their hopes, prayers, and dreams. The vast expanse of sky, the towering cliffs, and the delicate monasteries perched above all create a sense of perspective, reminding us of our place in the continuum of history and the enduring presence of nature and faith. Meteora also invites contemplation of the human spirit's capacity for innovation and devotion. Constructing homes, chapels, and places of study atop nearly vertical rock formations required ingenuity, courage, and a deep sense of purpose. The architecture itself seems to rise effortlessly from the stone, as though it were always meant to be there, a harmonious blend of human skill and natural grandeur. As day turns into evening, the play of light and shadow across the cliffs deepens. The monasteries, bathed in a soft amber glow, take on a mystical quality. The distant sounds of birds settling for the night, the whisper of wind through crevices, and the subtle echo of prayers in the chapels all contribute to a profound sense of peace. Meteora is not merely a place to visit, it is a place to pause, reflect, and connect with the enduring rhythms of life, devotion, and the natural world. In the quiet of the mountains, the monasteries of Meteora invite us to slow down, to breathe, and to immerse ourselves in the beauty of a landscape shaped by both time and human hands. Each stone, each fresco, and each shadow speaks to patience, faith, and the continuity of human aspiration. Here, above the plains of Thessaly, it is possible to feel a deep connection to both the past and the present, to witness the harmony of nature and human endeavor, and to experience a calm that lingers long after leaving the cliffs. The monasteries of Meteora are a sanctuary suspended between earth and sky, a reminder that even in a turbulent world, spaces of reflection, reverence, and serenity can endure. As you let your mind wander through the ancient corridors, the soft wind over the cliffs, and the stillness of centuries-old devotion, it becomes clear that this is a place where history and tranquility exist together, offering a rare moment of peace and contemplation for anyone who visits, even in the quiet of their imagination. Alhambra, Spain. Alhambra, located in the heart of Granada, Spain, is one of the finest examples of Moorish architecture in the world. Perched on a hill overlooking the city, it was once a fortified palace complex, a home to sultans, and a center of political and cultural life. Walking through its gates today, you can still sense the grandeur of its past. the careful attention to detail, and the deliberate blending of architecture with nature. The Nasrid palaces are the centerpiece of the Alhambra. Inside, the walls are covered with intricate stucco patterns, delicate arabesques and calligraphy that seem to weave a story in every corner. Light filters through finely carved screens, casting patterns on the stone floors. Each room is unique, yet there is a harmony that runs throughout the complex, a balance between design, proportion, and the surrounding landscape. As you move through the palaces, it is easy to imagine the life of the court. Musicians playing in the halls, scholars discussing philosophy, and courtiers moving through courtyards adorned with fountains and lush gardens. Water plays a central role in the Alhambra's design. Fountains trickle gently in the courtyards, their sound soft and continuous, almost meditative. Water channels flow along the floors, guiding the visitor's steps and marking the passage of time in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. The gardens are carefully arranged, filled with fragrant flowers and trees, providing shade and calm. The interplay of water, stone, and greenery reflects a deep understanding of how to create harmony between built spaces and the natural world. The Alhambra is not just a palace, it is a city within a fortress. Its walls, towers, and gates serve defensive purposes, protecting inhabitants from potential invaders. Yet even in its fortifications, there is elegance and grace. The stonework is precise, the carvings deliberate. Every detail speaks of skill, patience, and the desire to create something lasting, something that would endure centuries. Walking along the ramparts, you can see Granada spread out below, the modern city blending into the hills and valleys that have watched over the Alhambra for centuries. Beyond the palaces, the Generalife Gardens offer another layer of beauty. Terraced gardens rise gently, connected by pathways and staircases that lead visitors through a sequence of spaces designed for reflection and leisure. Fountains and pools mirror the sky, while flowers and shrubs sway gently in the breeze. It is easy to lose track of time here, to let the mind drift, carried by the harmony of nature and human craft. The Generalife was a place to relax, to contemplate, and to enjoy the delicate pleasures of life. Even amidst the weight of political power, the Alhambra's history is layered with periods of conquest, adaptation, and transformation. It was originally built by the Nasrid dynasty in the 13th and 14th centuries, but over time it experienced additions, changes, and restorations by successive rulers. Despite the passage of centuries, the essence of its design remains intact, a testament to the vision and ingenuity of its creators. Every stone and tile holds a story, a fragment of life from a time when the Alhambra was the center of a thriving, vibrant society. Exploring the Alhambra requires patience and attention. Each courtyard, each hall, each terrace offers something new to notice. Tiny details that might be overlooked at first glance, a carved inscription, a decorative motif, a reflection of sunlight on water, reward careful observation. Moving slowly allows the visitor to absorb the atmosphere fully, to sense the human presence embedded in stone and garden, to feel connected to the people who lived and worked here so long ago. The surrounding city of Granada adds context to the Alhambra experience. Narrow streets, whitewashed houses, and cobbled pathways create a sense of continuity between the palace and the town below. From the Alhambra, the Albaycin district appears like a labyrinth of history, where Moorish, Jewish, and Christian influences have blended over centuries. Sacramonte, with its cave houses and vibrant traditions, adds another layer of life to the area, reminding us that history is not frozen but alive, extending from the past into the present. Visiting the Alhambra early in the day allows for a more personal experience. The first rays of sunlight highlight the carvings and colors, the gardens seem to awaken, and the city below begins its daily rhythm. There is a quiet energy here, an almost meditative quality that encourages reflection and contemplation. One can imagine the sultans and their families moving through these spaces, the sounds of daily life mingling with the gentle flow of fountains, the rustle of leaves in the gardens, and the occasional call to prayer echoing from distant minarets. The Alhambra is more than a tourist destination. It is a testament to human creativity, ambition, and the pursuit of beauty. Its architecture embodies a philosophy of harmony, balance, and meticulous care. Its courtyards, halls, and gardens remind us that even in a world of politics and power, there is room for contemplation, art, and human connection. Walking through its spaces, one can feel the passage of time as a gentle guide, allowing the mind to slow, to notice, and to reflect. In the calm of the morning, or as the sun begins to set over Granada, the Alhambra offers a sense of timelessness. Its walls, fountains, and gardens speak softly of lives lived, ambitions pursued, and beauty created. Every visitor leaves, carrying fragments of this history, impressions of stone, water, and sky, and the quiet reminder that human beings have always sought to shape the world around them with care and intention. Exploring the Alhambra is to step into a world of quiet reflection, where architecture and nature converge. It teaches patience, appreciation, and attentiveness. It allows one to slow down, to notice the details that might otherwise be overlooked, and to feel a deep connection to the past. In this way, the Alhambra is not just a monument, but an invitation to observe, to contemplate, and to be present in a place where centuries of human effort and artistry converge in calm harmony. Ephesus, the ancient marvel of the Aegean. Ephesus, nestled near the modern town of Selçuk in Turkey's Aegean region, stands as one of the most well-preserved Roman cities in the world, offering a window into a civilization that thrived over 2,000 years ago. Walking through its marble streets, you immediately feel a connection to the past, as if the city itself breathes beneath your feet. This was a place where commerce, culture, religion, and daily life intertwined seamlessly, forming a hub of extraordinary activity in the ancient world. Founded much earlier, Ephesus reached its pinnacle around the 1st century BC, a period when its streets bustled with merchants, philosophers, and citizens moving about their daily lives. The Library of Celsus, one of the most iconic structures, dominates the cityscape with its elegant facade. Its towering columns and intricately carved details are not merely decorative, they symbolize the importance of knowledge and learning to this community. As you stand before it, it is easy to imagine scholars once wandering the steps, scrolls in hand, discussing the mysteries of the world and the philosophies of the ages. The great theater of Ephesus, with its vast seating carved into the hillside, could accommodate up to 25,000 spectators. It is astonishing to consider that centuries ago, this same space hosted dramatic performances, political gatherings, and civic assemblies. The echoes of voices, the applause, the debates of the city's citizens, all these intangible layers of history seem to linger in the air. Walking along its stone steps, you sense the energy that once filled this space, a blend of human emotion, artistry, and communal spirit. Ephesus was more than a city of monumental architecture. It was a center of commerce. The Curites Street, lined with ancient shops and arcades, was a bustling marketplace where traders from across the Mediterranean would converge. Silver coins clinked as merchants exchanged goods. Aromas of spices and herbs filled the air, and craftsmen worked meticulously in their workshops. Even today, walking along the colonnaded streets, one can almost hear the whispers of past transactions, the negotiation of merchants, and the laughter of citizens carrying out their daily routines. Religion also played a pivotal role in Ephesus. The Temple of Artemis, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, once stood proudly nearby, drawing pilgrims and worshippers from distant lands. Though only remnants remain today, the scale and grandeur of this temple evoke a sense of awe. The Ephesians dedicated themselves to their deities, offering sacrifices, performing rituals, and building structures that reflected both devotion and ingenuity. Each carved relief, each architectural choice, tells a story of faith intertwined with daily existence. The residential quarters of Ephesus reveal the lives of its ordinary citizens. Courtyards, mosaics, and intricately designed homes speak of a culture that valued beauty, comfort, and social interaction. Water systems, including aqueducts and fountains, illustrate advanced engineering skills, ensuring that life within the city flowed smoothly. As you walk through these spaces, imagining families going about their routines, you gain a sense of intimacy with a civilization long past, and yet familiar in its human concerns, joys, and challenges. Ephesus also bears witness to the complex layers of history, from its Hellenistic roots to Roman dominance, and later the rise of early Christianity. St. Paul himself visited the city, preaching to its inhabitants and leaving a lasting spiritual legacy. The mixture of pagan temples, civic buildings, and early Christian sites reflects a city in constant evolution, adapting to the tides of history while leaving behind permanent markers of its journey. Even as centuries passed, nature and time could not completely erase the city. Excavations have revealed paved streets, marble statues, elaborate baths, and decorative arches, each providing clues about the grandeur that once defined Ephesus. Walking through the site today, you are enveloped by a quiet rhythm of stone and shadow, an invitation to move slowly, observe closely, and reflect deeply on the passage of time. The terrace houses, located on the slopes of the city, offer some of the most intimate glimpses into Ephesus' past. Here, intricate frescoes, mosaics, and courtyards reveal the daily life of the wealthy, their aesthetic preferences, and the sophistication of their culture. Light filters gently through open spaces, casting delicate patterns on the walls, allowing you to imagine the family gatherings, conversations, and moments of quiet solitude that unfolded centuries ago. At the heart of the city, the Agora, or central marketplace, served as a social and economic hub. Merchants, philosophers, and citizens would gather here, exchanging ideas, debating issues of the day, and conducting commerce. The space thrived on human interaction, a testament to the importance of community in shaping the character and resilience of Ephesus. Even in its present silent state, the Agora invites reflection on the energy, the dialogue, and the shared experiences that once defined the city. The streets of Ephesus are lined with subtle reminders of its past. Carved inscriptions, decorative columns, and architectural details speak of a culture that valued art, knowledge, and civic engagement. Walking along these paths is like reading a history book etched in stone, where every corner, every facade, and every threshold tells a story waiting to be discovered. As you continue through the city, you notice the attention to detail in both the public and private spaces. Fountains and water channels demonstrate sophisticated urban planning, ensuring the health and convenience of its inhabitants. Public baths, theaters, and marketplaces highlight a culture that celebrated social life, leisure, and learning. The careful design of streets and buildings reflects a civilization deeply attuned to both practical needs and aesthetic aspirations. Ephesus, though partially in ruins, still conveys its former grandeur with subtle authority. The play of sunlight across the marble, the gentle rustle of leaves in the surrounding groves, and the occasional sound of birds remind you that life persists even as time passes. There is a calmness here, a rhythm that allows the mind to wander slowly, to absorb the layers of history without hurry or distraction. The city's water systems, including aqueducts and sophisticated drainage, reveal an advanced understanding of engineering and hygiene. These innovations ensured that Ephesus could sustain a large population comfortably, while also allowing public spaces to flourish. Stone channels guide the flow of water through the streets, providing refreshment and beauty, a constant reminder of the ingenuity and foresight of the city's planners. Ephesus was not merely a place of stone and marble, it was a living, breathing community. Families walked the streets, children played in courtyards, artisans carved their works, and citizens gathered to discuss politics, religion, and philosophy. The city thrived on human interaction, on the blending of culture, commerce, and spirituality. Today, as you walk silently among the ruins, you can almost hear faint echoes of these lives, intertwined with the whispers of centuries past. Even as evening approaches, the city exudes a quiet dignity. Shadows stretch across the streets, softening the edges of columns and facades. The air carries the faint scent of earth and stone, and the distant mountains offer a serene backdrop. Here, time slows, allowing you to appreciate not only the scale and grandeur of the architecture, but also the intricate details that speak to the human stories embedded within the city. Ephesus invites contemplation and gentle reflection. It is a space that connects the present to the past, a reminder of human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring pursuit of knowledge and beauty. Every column, arch, and mosaic offers a moment of pause, a chance to imagine the daily lives, aspirations, and beliefs of those who once called this city home.